Chapter 401. When the creation tree reached 400,000 meters, an auspicious light flickered between the leaves at the top of the creation tree. A dazzling yellow fruit slowly grew out. When this fruit grew out, the entire creation tree seemed to gain a new color. It was dazzling, mysterious, and full of vitality. The 400,000-meter-tall creation tree had lush foliage and was incomparably huge. It was dazzling, but Lu Yiping and the others immediately saw the fruit. It wasn't big, only the size of 2 thumbs, but it gave Lu Yiping and the others a feeling that it was a living creature that contained the essence of the grand Tao of heaven and earth. The fruit emitted a strange fragrance. Taurus Longjiao had never smelled anything so fragrant before. Looking at the fragrant fruit, Taurus Longjiao couldn't help but swallow. As for Ruler Enigma, he almost drooled. Even Lu Yiping felt his appetite increase when he looked at the fruit. After reaching 400,000 meters, the creation tree's foliage grew even more luxuriant, and the 12th stage of the immortal skyward art appeared. Previously, when the creation tree reached 300,000 meters, the 11th stage appeared. Now, at 400,000 meters, the creation tree transformed again, and the 12th stage appeared. When the creation tree stopped growing, Lu Yiping threw Zhu Ling Yinyu and the Dark Hell Ghost Beast out. Zhu Ling Yinyu and the Dark Hell Ghost Beast were equally shocked when they saw the creation tree. Creation tree? Zhu Ling exclaimed. Lu Yiping didn't just restore Mount Buzhou's vitality, he also restored the creation tree's vitality. The creation tree had grown to 400,000 meters, and it had even borne fruit. Dao fruit. Yinyu stared at the fruit excitedly. Although the Dao fruit was only the size of 2 thumbs, it was a super tonic even for Sage Realm experts. Swallowing a Dao fruit like this could save a Sage Realm expert tens of thousands of years of cultivation. For example, he had cultivated for 60 million years, but his auspicious clouds were only 14 mu. Swallowing a Dao fruit like this could increase his auspicious clouds by an entire mu or more. Not bad, Dao fruit, Lu Yiping said. Then he controlled the creation tree's millions of roots to pierce into the chests of Zhu Ling, Dark Hell Ghost Beast, and Yingu. Zhu Ling, Dark Hell Ghost Beast, and Yingu were all true saints. Their saint physique's defenses were extremely strong, and many chaos spiritual treasures couldn't break through their saint physique's defenses, but Jianshu was able to do so without any hindrance. Zhu Ling, Dark Hell Ghost Beast, and Yinyu were both shocked and furious. Lu Yiping, what are you trying to do? Zhu Ling was terrified. She had a bad feeling about this. Lu Yiping didn't look at the 3 of them. Instead, he looked at Jianshu's golden fruit. Why do you think I didn't kill you back then? Zhu Ling looked at the fruit and guessed Lu Yiping's thoughts. She roared, Lu Yiping, you killed a saint. You won't have a good ending. In the Yin Valley, the Black Hell Ghost Beast struggled frantically. Both of them knew what Lu Yiping was going to do. However, the 3 of them had already been sealed by Lu Yiping, and their struggles were futile. The creation tree started to glow. The 3 of them felt the saint energy in their body, and even the grand Tao energy they comprehended, flowing into the creation tree through the roots. Zhu Ling attacked the creation tree's roots madly. However, no matter how hard they attacked, the creation tree's roots didn't break. Even when Yingu and the Dark Hell Ghost Beast attacked at the same time, the creation tree's roots didn't break. When it was 300,000 meters tall, Jianshu's defense was already shocking. Even true saints couldn't break through its defense, not to mention now that it had broken through 400,000 meters, its defense was even more shocking. Yingu could feel all the saint energy and grand Tao energy in his body being absorbed by the creation tree. He roared, Lu Yiping, you won't die a good death. Kill me if you have the guts. Lu Yiping said indifferently, don't worry, I will do as you wish. It won't be long before your other primal ancestors reunite with you. In the Yin Valley, the Black Hell Ghost Beast and Zhu Ling attacked crazily, cursing Lu Yiping. However, as the creation tree's roots continued to absorb their saint energy and grand Tao energy, they became weaker and weaker. If it were other items that could open the heavens, they wouldn't be able to absorb the saint energy. However, as the universe's #1 divine tree, the creation tree could. The creation tree's roots glowed with golden light. Taurus Longjiao and Mace Tian could clearly see the 3 primal ancestors' saint energy and grand Tao energy being channeled into the creation tree's trunk. In the end, the 3 primal ancestors' saint energy and grand Tao energy were completely sucked dry. Following that, the creation tree started to extract their saint energy. Sensing that their saint body origin was being extracted, the 3 from Yin Valley were even more terrified. Their saint power and great path strength had been extracted. As long as their saint body origin was still there, they would still have the opportunity to cultivate their saint power and great path strength back. However, if their saint body origin was also extracted, they would never have the chance again. The three primal ancestors despaired. Half a day later, the three primal ancestors' saint energy was completely sucked dry. Just as the three primal ancestors' saint energy was sucked dry, the branches and leaves beside the original fruit flickered, and three golden fruits grew out. The three fruits emitted the same exotic fragrance. One was the size of a thumb, the other was the size of two thumbs, and the last one was the size of a small fist. These three fruits were different from the creation tree's original fruit. The original fruit was yellow in color, but these three fruits were milky white, the same color as the three primal ancestors' auspicious clouds. Taurus Longjiao and Mace Tian couldn't hide their shock seeing the three primal ancestors' saint energy, Grand Tao energy, and saint energy growing out from the creation tree. Lu Yiping's fire Grand Tao flew out from his body. The fire Grand Tao was ranked 19th among the 3,000 Grand Taos. Then the reincarnation Grand Tao ranked 7th flew out. After the fire Grand Tao flew out, it turned into a fire dragon that coiled around Zhu Ling Yin Gu and the dark hell ghost beast. At the same time, the reincarnation Grand Tao enveloped the space around the three primal ancestors, sealing their souls and vitality. Under the fire Grand Tao's burning, the three primal ancestors slowly turned into ashes. Everything disappeared, and with Lu Yiping's reincarnation Grand Tao, they didn't even have the chance to enter the cycle of reincarnation. After killing the three primal ancestors, Lu Yiping's hand reached out, and the white thumb-sized fruit fell into his palm. He passed the fruit to Mace Tian and said, "You can refine this Tao fruit." This Tao fruit was condensed from Zhu Ling's saint energy, Grand Tao energy, and saint energy. Mace Tian was flattered, and he waved his hand in a fluster. "Master, I can't take this Tao fruit." Lu Yiping shook his head. "Take it. With this Tao fruit, your chances of entering the saint realm will be higher, and the creation tree will grow more Tao fruits in the future." In the end, under Lu Yiping's order, Mace Tian accepted the fruit. Chapter 402. Lu Yiping then plucked the white Tao fruit the size of two thumbs and gave it to Taurus Longjiao. This Tao fruit was formed by extracting the saint force, Tao force, and origin force of the black hell ogre beast. Taurus Longjiao was at the critical juncture of becoming a saint. With this Tao fruit, he should be able to ascend quickly. "Master, this Tao fruit is more useful to you. It's a waste to give it to me." Taurus Longjiao shook his head and was about to refuse when Lu Yiping shook his head. "This Tao fruit is more useful to me, but it's just as important to you. Besides, I'll have plenty of Tao fruits in the future." He then had Taurus Longjiao accept it. Taurus Longjiao finally accepted the Tao fruit. Next, Lu Yiping and the others sat cross-legged under the tree of creation and swallowed Tao fruits to cultivate. Lu Yiping swallowed the fist-sized white fruit first. This Tao fruit was formed by extracting the saint force, Tao force, and origin force of the Yin Valley. Therefore, it was much larger than Taurus Longjiao and Maxim Maxim's. This fruit contained more saint energy and great path energy than saint energy. As Lu Yiping refined the Tao fruit, the auspicious cloud above his head slowly grew. Originally it was only 10 mu in size, but now it was approaching 11 mu. Lu Yiping's saint force also grew noticeably. 1 mu of auspicious cloud could gather 100 million saint force. Lu Yiping's original 10 mu of auspicious cloud was a billion saint force. As the auspicious cloud approached 11 mu, Lu Yiping's saint force also approached 11 billion. When Lu Yiping finished refining the Tao fruit, the auspicious cloud above his head had grown to 11 mu, but it was still a long way from 12 mu. Lu Yiping immediately plucked the yellow Tao fruit from Jian Shu and swallowed it. This yellow Tao fruit contained far more Grand Tao energy than the one in the Yin Valley. As soon as it entered his mouth, it transformed into a monstrous Grand Tao energy that poured into Lu Yiping's body. Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud grew at a speed visible to the naked eye. Very quickly the auspicious cloud grew to 12 mu. However, after Qin Yun had grown to a certain extent, it would become harder for it to grow. Therefore, several days later, when Lu Yiping had completely refined the yellow Tao fruit, the auspicious cloud had just broken through to 13 mu. As for Bewildering Heaven and Taurus Longjiao, their refining speed was far slower than Lu Yiping's. Thus, when Lu Yiping finished refining the two Tao fruits, the two of them were still cultivating. Lu Yiping did not interrupt them. He sat cross-legged at the bottom of Jian Shu and continued cultivating the immortal Skywood technique. Now that his immortal Skywood technique had reached the 10th level, his saint body's defense had far surpassed the Yin Valley, the abyssal ghost beast, and Zhu Ling. If his immortal Skywood technique reached the 12th level, his defense would be as terrifying as the 400,000-meter tall Jian Shu. Thus, he had to cultivate the immortal skywood technique to the 12th level as soon as possible, and the secret of longevity to the 49th level. Since the Jianshu had grown to 400,000 meters, the black and yellow qi was much denser than when it was 300,000 meters tall. Thus, Lu Yiping's cultivation speed was much faster than before. After several hundred years, Lu Yiping finally reached the 12th level of the immortal skywood technique. However, the secret of longevity was still a little short of the 49th level. As for the Great Daos and the 8 Good Fortune Jade Discs, Lu Yiping had already comprehended most of them. After several hundred years, he had finally comprehended all the Great Daos and the 8 Good Fortune Jade Discs. The first Good Fortune Jade Disc contained 1,000 Great Daos, and the other 7 discs contained 100 Great Daos. Thus, Lu Yiping had comprehended 1,700 Great Daos. For example, Yin Valley had only comprehended 10 Great Daos in the Saint Realm, which was already rare in the Yinba clan. However, Lu Yiping had comprehended 1,700 Great Daos in the Saint Realm. This was simply shocking. Of course, this was mainly because Lu Yiping possessed the Good Fortune Jade Disc and had a bloodline connection with it. Thus, he was able to comprehend 1,700 Great Daos. If it were any other sage, even if they obtained the Good Fortune Jade Disc, they wouldn't be able to refine it. They wouldn't be able to comprehend 1,700 Great Daos like Lu Yiping. After several hundred years, Lu Yiping reached the 12th level of the immortal skywood technique. When he stopped cultivating, Taurus Longjiao and ruler Mi Tian had already finished refining the Dao fruit. Their transformation was shocking. Taurus Longjiao had successfully entered the Saint Realm. Although he hadn't confirmed his Dao, entering the Saint Realm meant that he had crossed the threshold of the true Saint Realm. As for ruler Mi Tian, he had entered the late-stage sovereign realm. His battle strength far surpassed ordinary late-stage sovereigns. Lu Yiping stood up and looked at the two's transformation. He nodded and smiled. Not bad. Taurus Longjiao grinned. It's all thanks to Master's nurturing. Ruler Mi Tian fell to his knees and kowtowed in thanks to Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping helped Hegemon Mystery Heaven to his feet and asked, "Do you know how your eldest apprentice brother, second apprentice brother, and third apprentice sister are doing?" He had 4 personal disciples, and Hegemon Mystery Heaven was his youngest personal disciple. Hegemon Mystic Heaven was stunned, and he said, "Eldest senior brother should be in the immortal world. As for second senior brother and third senior sister, I don't know." He then told Lu Yiping some details about his eldest senior brother. "Master, why don't I go with you to the immortal world?" Ruler Mi Tian said. "I haven't seen eldest senior brother in many years." Lu Yiping thought for a moment, then shook his head. "You shouldn't go to the immortal world for now." He then added, "I'm afraid that something big will happen there." "Something big?" Ruler Mi Tian blinked, then nodded. Afterward, Lu Yiping gave ruler Mi Tian some pointers on the problems he had encountered in his cultivation over the years. Several months passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Yiping parted ways with ruler Mi Tian and headed to the immortal world with Taurus Longjiao. The immortal world was the leader of the myriad of worlds. Although it wasn't too far from the God world, the journey from the God world to the immortal world was fraught with difficulties. First of all, one had to pass through the realm walls of each world. Without a certain level of strength, one wouldn't even be able to pass through the realm walls. Chapter 403. This river was called the Black Abyss Star Sand River. As long as one crossed the Black Abyss Star Sand River, they wouldn't be far from the immortal world. However, crossing the Black Abyss Star Sand River wasn't an easy task. The Black Abyss Star Sand River had a terrifying devouring power. Once one was sucked into the Black Abyss Star Sand River, even a sovereign realm expert would find it hard to survive. Lu Yiping and the Black Abyss Star Sand River broke through the billowing astral energy and entered the space above the Black Abyss Star Sand River. Then they turned into 2 streaks of light and sped towards the opposite bank. As soon as the two entered the space above the Black Abyss Star Sand River, they encountered the terrifying devouring power at the bottom of the Black Abyss Star Sand River. However, this devouring power was negligible to Lu Yiping and the Black Abyss Star Sand River. The Black Abyss Star Sand River formed its own space. Therefore, Lu Yiping and the Black Abyss Star Sand River needed some time to cross it. However, as they passed through the Black Abyss Star Sand River, the two were attacked by numerous sand beasts. The Black Abyss Star Sand River had been around for countless years. It had probably existed for even longer than the immortal world and divine world. In these countless years, the Black Abyss Star Sand River had given birth to some fierce beasts with spiritual intelligence. These fierce beasts' physiques were extremely similar to the Black Abyss Star Sand River. Many sovereign realm experts couldn't sense their existence. Moreover, they were strong, with many of them not weaker than Sovereign Realm experts. Therefore, many Sovereign Realm experts would be injured if they weren't careful. Encountering these Black Abyss Star Sand Beasts, Lu Yiping and the Black Abyss Star Sand Beasts exploded. Although Taurus Longjiao had just entered the Saint Realm, his strength had increased by several folds. Even several peak late-stage Sovereign Realm experts couldn't withstand a single-finger attack from him. He had twin bloodlines, and his combat strength was much stronger than the Fixed Heaven ruler when he entered the Saint Realm. An hour later, Lu Yiping and the Black Abyss Star Sand River passed through the Black Abyss Star Sand River without any hindrance and arrived at the opposite bank. Then, without stopping, they rushed towards the immortal world. As the two of them continued to fly forward, an extremely vast and resplendent world finally appeared at the end of the Milky Way. Taurus Longjiao smiled as he looked at this vast world that was emitting resplendent light and illuminating the endless space. Awesome, I've finally seen the home of my dreams. After leaving the God Realm, Taurus Longjiao hadn't seen a single soul along the way. Now that he was finally in the immortal realm, he smiled from the bottom of his heart. Although he was born in the Dragon Realm, he had special feelings for the immortal realm. The first time he met Lu Yiping was in the immortal realm. The first time he had barbecued meat and drank wine with Lu Yiping was also in the immortal realm. Many of his firsts with Lu Yiping were also in the immortal realm. Moreover, he had spent his childhood in the immortal realm. I wonder how Uncle is doing right now. Taurus Longjiao sighed. He had an uncle in the immortal world who had brought him up. When we reach the immortal world, we'll head to Demon Ox Mountain first, Lu Yiping said. Taurus Longjiao's uncle's residence was on Demon Ox Mountain. Master, your matter is more important. We can go to Demon Ox Mountain in the future, the Dragon Horn Golden Bull said. He knew that Lu Yiping's main purpose in coming to the immortal realm was to find Master Jianshu and the Yinba race's headquarters. As long as he could find the headquarters, he might be able to completely destroy the Yinba race. Lu Yiping shook his head. My matter isn't urgent. Let's go to Demon Ox Mountain first. Taurus Longjiao nodded and grinned. Alright, we'll drink fruit wine then. Fruit wine was a specialty of Demon Ox Mountain. The first time Taurus Longjiao barbecued meat and drank wine with Lu Yiping was the fruit wine. The unique taste of the fruit wine was unforgettable for Taurus Longjiao. Lu Yiping smiled. Alright, let's drink for 3 days and 3 nights. Alright, let's drink for 3 days and 3 nights. Taurus Longjiao smiled. The two quickly flew towards the immortal world. With their full strength, the immortal world grew closer and closer. The light of the immortal world grew brighter and brighter. As the two approached the immortal world, their bodies were illuminated by the light of the immortal world. Finally, the two arrived in front of the immortal world's boundary wall. Lu Yiping's great Dao light surged and directly passed through the boundary wall. Taurus Longjiao followed closely behind. The two entered the immortal world one after another. As soon as they entered the immortal world, the picturesque scenery of the immortal world appeared before their eyes. At this time the sun had just risen. The morning sun shone on the vast land of the immortal world. It was beautiful and magnificent. Taurus Longjiao looked at the beautiful immortal world in front of him and took a deep breath of the surrounding spiritual energy. The spiritual energy of the immortal world was different from that of the God realm. This unique spiritual energy that only belonged to the immortal world made Taurus Longjiao feel incomparably comfortable. Lu Yiping also breathed in the spiritual energy of the immortal world and smiled. The air of the immortal world is still the most comfortable. Then he stepped forward with Taurus Longjiao. Not long after, the two arrived at a city in front of them. The city was extremely lively. Lu Yiping smiled. Let's go take a look. The two landed on the main road in front of the city gate and then followed the flow of people into the city. Almost all of the people in the city were human cultivators. These human cultivators wore the immortal robes of various sections. In the God realm, they cultivated divine power. In the immortal world, they cultivated immortal power. The heavenly court is recruiting. Are we going to take the test? Forget it. With our aptitude, we can't even pass the first test. The immortal master is recruiting so many soldiers. Is he going to war with the demon realm again? The demon realm's demon lord has been invading the immortal world in recent years. In the city, in a restaurant, some experts were chatting. I wonder what the requirements are for this test? I'm not very sure. In the past, one had to be at least in the immortal realm to participate in the test. This time, it seems that the requirements are relaxed. It seems that the half-immortal realm is enough. Listening to the discussion of these human experts, Taurus Longjiao was surprised. Half-immortal realm can participate in the test? Hao Yin recruited so many cannon fodder. It's useless. If they really went to war with the demon realm, the half-immortal realm experts would be useless. Good news. Our spirit dragon city lord has broken through to the Xian immortal realm. The Meng family and the Zhu family are going to have a marriage alliance. Is it true? The Zhu family sage, the Golden Thunder Sage, didn't really die, did he? Shoo. How dare you talk about the Golden Thunder Sage? The discussion around them continued to enter their ears. Taurus Longjiao smiled. It seems that the news of Zhu Ling has spread in the immortal world? Lu Yiping nodded. Zhu Ling was a Dao-confirming sage, so it was normal for the immortal world to be shaken by the death of a Dao-confirming sage. In the divine world, one cultivated the gods, while in the immortal world, one cultivated the immortals. Therefore, the realms in the immortal world were different from those in the divine world. Immortals were equivalent to gods in the divine world. Above them were true immortals, celestial immortals, profound immortals, high immortals, peerless immortals, golden immortals, grand unity golden immortals, perfected golden immortals, heavenly monarchs, immortal emperors, and celestial venerables. A heavenly venerable was equivalent to the ruler of the divine world, and above that was the saint realm, the saint realm. Regardless of whether it was divine cultivation or immortal cultivation, the ultimate goal was to prove one's Tao and become a saint. All the different paths led to the same destination. Chapter 404. Who's the marriage between the Meng and the Zhu? I don't know. I heard it's Empress Meng Qiantong and immortal Emperor Zhu Heng. What? Empress Meng Qiantong? She's my goddess. Goddess my ass. Why don't you take a look in the mirror? You're not even fit to be Empress Meng Qiantong's horse. If I'm not fit to be Empress Meng Qiantong's horse, then I'll clean her shoes. In the surrounding streets, shops, restaurants, and even the experts of the various sects and clans were talking about the marriage alliance between the Meng clan and the Zhu clan. The Meng and the Zhu were giants in the immortal world. As the most outstanding disciple of the Meng, Meng Qiantong had both beauty and strength. She was the dream lover of all the male disciples in the immortal world. Therefore, the male disciples of the immortal world were greatly affected when they heard that the marriage was between Meng Qiantong and Zhu Heng. You guys don't know, but I heard Empress Meng Qiantong doesn't agree to this marriage. Someone suddenly said. Empress Meng Qiantong doesn't agree to this marriage? That's right. Empress Meng Qiantong said that she won't consider marriage until she reaches the sage realm. When the crowd heard this, they once again started discussing heatedly. Lu Yiping stopped when he passed by a restaurant. 3 Lives Restaurant. Lu Yiping looked at the name of the restaurant and thought of some things from the past. I didn't expect this small city to have a 3 Lives Restaurant, Taurus Longjiao said. Although Spirit Dragon City was very prosperous, it was just an insignificant city in the immortal world. The city lord was only an abstruse immortal. Let's go in and have a seat, Lu Yiping said and entered the restaurant with Taurus Longjiao. The restaurant was decorated in a very grand manner and occupied a large area. It had 2 floors, each of which was 1,000 square meters. Business was good and there were almost no empty seats. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao didn't go to the second floor. They went to an empty seat in the corner of the first floor and sat down. The two called the waiter over. Lu Yiping threw a supreme-grade immortal stone to the waiter. The shop assistant held the piece of supreme-grade immortal stone in a daze. In the immortal world, the exchange rate of immortal stones was 100 to 1. One piece of supreme-grade immortal stone was equivalent to 100 pieces of high-grade immortal stones, 10,000 pieces of middle-grade immortal stones, and 1,000,000 pieces of low-grade immortal stones. Therefore, a piece of supreme-grade immortal stone was a huge sum in a small city like Spirit Dragon City. A piece of supreme-grade immortal stone could buy a small courtyard in Dragon Spirit City. Give us 2 jars of 3 Lives wine and a table full of good food and wine, Lu Yiping said. The waiter came back to his senses and replied respectfully, All right, please wait a moment, sirs. Then he smiled bitterly and said, But, sirs, do you have any high-grade or medium-grade immortal stones? 2 jars of 3 Xing wine and a table of good food and wine won't cost that much. Lu Yiping smiled and said, I'll leave the rest to you. I have some questions for you. The waiter's eyes widened as he stuttered, You're giving me the rest? He couldn't believe it. Lu Yiping smiled and said, That's right. Then he asked, Is 3 Lives old man still in charge of 3 Lives restaurant? The waiter was startled, then he shook his head. No, our 3 Lives restaurant has been under Lord Zhu Huqing's control since 1,000,000 years ago. Zhu Huqing? Lu Yiping was puzzled. Yes, Lord Zhu Huqing is our Lord 3 Lives' nephew, the waiter said. Nephew? Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao looked at each other. They remembered that 3 Lives old man didn't have any nephews. 3 Lives Old Man doesn't have any brothers or sisters, so how could he have a nephew? Lu Yiping asked. The waiter shook his head. I'm not sure about this. I only heard it from the elders of the restaurant. Lu Yiping asked a few more questions about 3 Lives Old Man. A while later, the waiter left in high spirits. Soon he returned with 2 jugs of 3 Lives wine and a table full of dishes for Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. 3 Lives Old Man entered the Azure Lightning Holy Manor? After the waiter left, Taurus Longjiao shook his head. I'm afraid 3 Lives Old Man's fate is more likely than not. The Azure Lightning Holy Manor was a cultivation dwelling left behind by the Azure Lightning Holy Saint. When the Azure Lightning Holy Manor appeared 1,000,000 years ago, 3 Lives Old Man entered the manor and never came out again. The Azure Lightning Holy Manor was covered in layers of restrictions. If 3 Lives Old Man didn't come out, he was probably dead inside. Lu Yiping shook his head and didn't say anything. Then he clinked his cup with Taurus Longjiao. After eating and drinking to their heart's content, the two left the restaurant. When the two left the restaurant, they saw a 7 to 8-year-old girl in tattered clothes crying and begging passers-by. Big brother, big sister, I beg you, please save my mother, I beg you. Although the little girl's clothes were tattered, it couldn't hide her cute and delicate appearance. Although she was only 7 or 8 years old, her cultivation wasn't low. She was already in the half-immortal realm. Even in the immortal world, it was rare for a 7 to 8-year-old disciple to cultivate to the half-immortal realm. When Lu Yiping saw the black phoenix tattoo on her arm, his heart moved and he walked over. When the little girl saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao walking over, she couldn't help but go up to Lu Yiping and beg, Big brother, I beg you, please save my mother. Little sister, what happened to your mother? Lu Yiping squatted down and asked. Hearing Lu Yiping's question, the little girl said, My mother and I came to seek refuge with relatives. On the way we were robbed by bad people. My mother was heavily injured and she protected me as we escaped here. My mother has been vomiting blood and is about to die. Speaking of this, the little girl started crying. Her cries were extremely mournful. Where is your mother? Take us to see her, Lu Yiping said. Hearing this, the little girl hurriedly led Lu Yiping to the north of Spirit Dragon City. Finally, they arrived at a dilapidated courtyard overgrown with weeds in the north of Spirit Dragon City. In the corner of the courtyard, a beautiful woman with a noble temperament and creamy skin was lying on the ground. However, her aura was weak and her body was covered in blood. Just as the little girl said, her mother's injuries were extremely serious. The beautiful woman's immortal meridians were shattered and her soul was on the verge of collapse. If they didn't save her, she would definitely die. Mother. The little girl rushed to the beautiful woman's side and cried. Her tears were like plowing plows as she shook the beautiful woman with all her strength. However, the beautiful woman couldn't even open her eyes. Lu Yiping summoned the Tree of Life and the life force continuously poured into the beautiful woman's body. Soon, the beautiful woman's face began to turn rosy. After stabilizing the beautiful woman's injuries, Lu Yiping recalled the Tree of Life. Then he took out an immortal pill and had the little girl feed her mother. Seeing her mother's rosy complexion and no longer vomiting blood, the little girl thanked Lu Yiping and fed her mother the immortal pill. The beautiful woman sat cross-legged and began to refine the immortal pill's medicinal efficacy. Seeing the little girl's nervous expression, Lu Yiping said, Don't worry. Your mother's injuries will be completely healed tomorrow. At this time, the sky gradually darkened. Lu Yiping made Taurus Longjiao build a bonfire not far away and then cleared the surrounding weeds. Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and the little girl sat by the bonfire and chatted. Chapter 405. What is your name? Lu Yiping asked the little girl warmly. The little girl was very obedient and said, Big brother, my name is Huang Kersen. Huang Kersen? Lu Yiping laughed, Your name is very nice. You are from the Black Phoenix race, right? How is the Black Phoenix race now? Hearing Lu Yiping mention the Black Phoenix race, Huang Kersen's eyes suddenly turned red and she started to cry loudly. Our Black Phoenix race is gone. Huang Kersen cried loudly. Gone? Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's face sank. After Huang Kersen calmed down, Lu Yiping asked, Kersen, what happened to the Black Phoenix race? Huang Kersen sobbed, A few days ago my mother and I went out to train. When we came back we found out that our people were all killed. There were corpses and blood everywhere. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's eyes turned cold when they heard this. Do you know who did it? Taurus Longjiao asked. Huang Kersen shook her head, I don't know. When my mother and I came back we saw a group of masked men in black moving the corpses. My mother didn't dare to make a sound and secretly left with me. We originally wanted to go to my grandfather's house but we met bandits on the way. Masked men in black? Lu Yiping muttered, what are the characteristics of those masked men in black? Huang Kersen thought for a while and said, they should be men. They were tall and their eyes had a demonic light. My mother said that they might be human demonic cultivators. Human demonic cultivators? Taurus Longjiao frowned. In the immortal world there were many human demonic sects and experts. So, just knowing that the other party was a human demonic cultivator was not enough to find the culprit. Lu Yiping fell into deep thought. Even though he only knew that the other party was a demonic cultivator of the human race and it was difficult to find the culprit, the Black Phoenix race was not weak. There were not many demonic cultivator sects that could destroy the Black Phoenix race. At this moment Huang Kersen's stomach rumbled. Kersen, you haven't eaten for a long time, right? Lu Yiping asked. He then took out a huge beast claw, cut off a piece and roasted it over the bonfire. This beast claw belonged to the dark hell ghost beast that he had killed earlier. The beast claw was huge. He and Taurus Longjiao had roasted it many times. They had already eaten one and now there was only one left. Soon the aroma of beast meat filled the air. Huang Kersen smelled the fragrance of the beast meat and felt her whole body was very comfortable. She felt as if she was floating in the air. She looked at the golden and fragrant beast meat on the bonfire and asked, Big brother, what beast meat is this? It's so fragrant. I've eaten a lot of immortal beast meat but none of them are as fragrant as this. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao smiled. The world of immortals doesn't have this kind of meat. Taurus Longjiao smiled. There should only be one in the myriad of worlds. Huang Kersen's cute eyes widened. There's only one in the myriad worlds? What kind of beast is that? It's the dark hell ghost beast? Taurus Longjiao smiled. Dark hell ghost beast? Huang Kersen looked puzzled. She shook her head and said, I don't know. Lu Yiping smiled. After the meat was cooked, he cut off a small piece and gave it to Huang Kersen. It wasn't that he was reluctant, but Huang Kersen was only in the half-celestial stage. It was difficult for her to refine the vast amount of saint origin contained in the dark hell ghost beast meat. Even if it was only a small piece, it was still extremely vast and terrifying for Huang Kersen. However, with Lu Yiping around, there was no need to worry about Huang Kersen's dantian exploding. Huang Kersen took the small piece of beast meat and salivated. Even so, she still ate it very elegantly and slowly. She took a small bite and felt that her mouth was full of fragrance. The fragrance seemed to seep into every pore in her body and even into her spirit ocean. Big brother, this beast meat is simply too delicious. Huang Kersen was surprised. Lu Yiping and Huang Kersen smiled. This beast meat contains very strong true core. So, after you finish eating, sit down cross-legged and use the Dark Phoenix race's cultivation method to refine the true core, Lu Yiping said. Lu Yiping didn't say saint origin, only true core. Huang Kersen nodded. After a while, she finished eating the small piece of beast meat and sat down cross-legged as she was told. She used the Dark Phoenix race's cultivation method to refine the true core in the beast meat. Not long after Huang Kersen started using the Dark Phoenix race's cultivation method, a vast torrent suddenly rushed out of her body and rushed into her body. Huang Kersen was shocked. However, at this moment, a warm energy suddenly wrapped around her. The torrent in her body became extremely gentle and then flowed into her dantian, where it was continuously converted into celestial core. Lu Yiping's palm emitted a holy light that enveloped Huang Kersen and guided the saint origin in her body. After the saint origin was completely smoothed out, he stopped. Lu Yiping had used a secret technique to seal most of the saint origin in Huang Kersen's body. In the future, as Huang Kersen used the Dark Phoenix race's cultivation method to cultivate, the saint origin would slowly seep out. Therefore, Huang Kersen's cultivation speed would be 100 times faster than before. At the very least, before the saint origin in her body was completely refined, her cultivation would continue to rise at an astonishing speed. Seeing Huang Kersen refining the black hell ghost beast meat, Taurus Longjiao said, "This girl's bloodline is very pure. It's not any lower than Huang Weiming's." After a pause he said, "Since the Dark Phoenix race was annihilated, that brat Huang Weiming wouldn't have died, right?" Lu Yiping didn't say anything. The night passed. The morning sun shone brilliantly into the courtyard. Huang Kersen was the first to wake up. When she woke up, she was pleasantly surprised. "I broke through to the immortal realm? I'm an immortal now." Her little face was full of disbelief. She said excitedly to Lu Yiping, "Big brother, did I really break through to the immortal realm?" Lu Yiping said with a smile, "It's true. You are now in the immortal realm." Huang Kersen stood up, hugged Lu Yiping and kissed him. Then she cheered. The half-celestial realm was still immortal. Only by entering the immortal realm could one shed their mortal body and become an immortal. Immortals and half-celestials had completely different statuses in the immortal realm. No wonder Huang Kersen was so happy. Looking at the cheering Huang Kersen, Taurus Longjiao seemed to see Luo Shui when he was young. He said with emotion, "I wonder how Luo Shui is now." Lu Yiping muttered, "He should be fine." He felt that Luo Shui should still be alive. In the immortal realm, he had asked the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce and other chambers of commerce to look for Luo Shui. However, the immortal realm was vast and it wasn't easy to find a person. So until now there was still no news of Luo Shui. However, Lu Yiping felt that in the future, there would definitely be a day when he would coincidentally meet Luo Shui. Not long after Huang Kersen woke up, her mother, Chen Yitao, also woke up. When she woke up, Chen Yitao's injuries had completely healed. After she learned from her daughter that it was Lu Yiping who saved her, she walked towards Lu Yiping. Chen Yitao's injuries had healed and her complexion was very good. She was even more beautiful than yesterday. She came in front of Lu Yiping and bowed to thank him. "Yitao, thanks sir for saving my life." Her voice was like a nightingale and very pleasant to listen to. Chapter 406. It's nothing. Lu Yiping helped her up and said, "Moreover, I'm old friends with Huang Weiming of the Black Phoenix race." Chen Yitao was shocked. Lord knows old ancestor Huang Weiming? Huang Weiming was one of the strongest old ancestors of the Black Phoenix race, an immortal emperor expert. Lu Yiping nodded, "I know him but I haven't seen him for 4 million years." He then asked, "Tell me more about the Black Phoenix race." Huang Weiming was someone he met before he entered the Saint Realm. When Chen Yitao heard Lu Yiping asking about the Black Phoenix race, she said, "A few months ago, I went out to train with Kersen. When I returned, I discovered that the Black Phoenix race had undergone a huge change. At that time there was blood and corpses everywhere. I was afraid that the black-robed masked men would discover me, so I didn't dare to get too close. After that, I used my clan's immortal artifact to conceal my aura and escaped with Kersen. Originally, I wanted to go to Ziluo City to seek refuge with my big brother, but I didn't expect to encounter bandits on the way." Chen Yitao said gratefully, "If it wasn't for you guys, I'm afraid I would have died long ago." "Do you know if Huang Weiming is still alive?" Lu Yiping asked. Chen Yitao shook her head, "I don't know." Lu Yiping asked a few more questions. "Big brother, where are you guys going? Why don't you come with us to Ziluo City?" Huang Kersen pleaded with a reluctant look on her face. Chen Yitao scolded softly, "Kersen, don't be rude, call him Lord." Lu Yiping waved his hand, "It's fine." He then smiled at Huang Kersen, "We're going to Demon Bull Mountain. Since it's on the way, let's go to Ziluo City together." Huang Kersen cheered when she heard that and revealed a sweet smile, "Thank you, big brother. I knew big brother is the best." Taurus Longjiao smiled, "Am I not good? Big brother Xiaojin is also good." Huang Kersen stuck out her tongue and smiled sweetly. Taurus Longjiao grinned. This was the first time he was called big brother? Xiaojin? He thought of Tang Bin from the Azure Thunder sect in the Divine World. Taurus Longjiao picked an immortal item from his spatial artifact and passed it to Huang Kersen. He smiled and said, "This is our first meeting. Big brother Xiaojin doesn't have anything good to give you. Take a look and see if you like this sword." When Chen Yitao saw the small sword, she quickly waved her hand and said, "Lord Xiaojin, this is too precious. Kersen cannot accept it." Taurus Longjiao said, "It's just a small toy." Then he asked Huang Kersen to accept it. This small sword was a supreme-grade immortal artifact. It was one of the hundreds of supreme-grade immortal artifacts that he and Lu Yiping had obtained after destroying a sect in the immortal world millions of years ago. These things were useless in his spatial artifact. Huang Kersen took the small sword and waved it around. She liked it very much and happily thanked Taurus Longjiao. After that, Lu Yiping and the rest left the small courtyard. Before leaving Spirit Dragon City, Chen Yitao went to a shop to buy an immortal robe. After changing into the immortal robe that was stained with blood, Chen Yitao shone brightly and became even more beautiful. She attracted a lot of attention from the passers-by. After leaving Spirit Dragon City, Lu Yiping and the rest headed north. Lu Yiping and Huang Kersen were not in a hurry, so they accompanied Huang Kersen and Chen Yitao. Along the way, Huang Kersen was chattering non-stop and asked questions. Huang Kersen tilted her head and asked Lu Yiping, "Big brother, how do you know everything? I asked you so many questions and you still don't know any of them." Lu Yiping laughed, "The more books you read, the more you know." Huang Kersen said, "But I also read a lot of books." Chen Yitao smiled, How old are you? You only read a few hundred books and you dare to say it's a lot? Because Zilluo City was still far away and they were not in a hurry. When they passed by some cities they would stop for a night. Normally they would travel during the day. A few days later, when they passed by a city called Mingguang City, Lu Yiping and the rest were stopped by someone. The people who stopped Lu Yiping and the rest were a group of burly men. There were about 30 to 40 of them and they all looked fierce. Chen Yitao saw this group of burly men and her face changed. Huang Kersen hid behind Lu Yiping. Hee, two little ladies, we meet again. What a coincidence. The leader stared at Chen Yitao and grinned. He had a mouth full of yellow teeth and his eyes stared in front of Chen Yitao. He smiled. We haven't seen each other for a few days and you have become prettier. Huang Kersen said to Lu Yiping, Big brother, they are the robbers who tried to rob us earlier. The group of robbers looked at Lu Yiping. One of them laughed. This brat is not bad looking. Let's capture him and make him third sister's concubine. What do you all think? The group of robbers cheered in agreement. Make him third sister's concubine? Taurus Longjiao snorted coldly. In an instant, his voice was like a clap of thunder, shaking the entire Mingguang City. At this moment, all the experts in Mingguang City felt their souls tremble and they looked towards Taurus Longjiao's direction in fear. Huang Kersen and Chen Yitao saw the group of robbers standing there stiffly with blood spurting out from their 7 orifices. Yes, they were spurting out blood and not flowing out. This group of robbers fell to the ground at the same time. The ground was empty and all of them were dead. Chen Yitao was shocked. Although these robbers looked neither fish nor fowl, they were very strong. Many of them were gold immortals, and their leader was even a primordial unity golden immortal like her. How could the dragon horn golden bull kill them all with just a snort? Let's go. Lu Yiping didn't look at the group of robbers and walked forward with Taurus Longjiao. The road ahead was blocked by the corpses of the robbers, but when Lu Yiping walked past them, the corpses were blown away by the wind like loose sand, disappearing without a trace. Chen Yitao was shocked. Just now these robbers were all killed by Taurus Longjiao's snort. Then what happened to the corpses? Why did they suddenly become loose sand and scattered by the wind? Was it Lu Yiping? However, she didn't sense any energy fluctuations from Lu Yiping and there were no other energy fluctuations in the surrounding space. Chen Yitao was bewildered and followed with her daughter. Huang Kersen didn't think too much and just exclaimed, Brother Xiaojin, you are so powerful. You are as powerful as my grandfather and grandfather. Oh, is that so? Taurus Longjiao laughed. Who is your grandfather? Huang Kersen said proudly, My grandfather is Chen Wanli, the head of the Chen family in the accumulative moon continent. People call him the 10,000-mile sword god and also the 10,000-mile sword emperor. My grandfather is the #1 sword expert in the accumulative moon continent. So your grandfather is the #1 sword expert in the accumulative moon continent? Taurus Longjiao laughed. Huang Kersen said, My uncle is also powerful. He is an invincible lord of heaven and also the city lord of Zilluo City. Also, my uncle and Meng Hongyu of the Meng family are best friends. Meng Hongyu is the younger brother of Empress Meng Qiantong. Chapter 407. Meng Qiantong? Taurus Longjiao said. Is this Meng Qiantong very famous? After the two entered the immortal realm, the name they heard the most was Meng Qiantong. Huang Kersen and Chen Yitao looked at Taurus Longjiao weirdly as if they were looking at an alien. Of course Empress Meng Qiantong is very famous, very famous. Huang Kersen's expression was a bit exaggerated. Brother Xiaojin, don't tell me you don't even know Empress Meng Qiantong? Taurus Longjiao was a bit embarrassed by Huang Kersen's exaggerated expression. I've been in seclusion with Master for many years and just came out so I don't know. No wonder. Huang Kersen said. Empress Meng Qiantong is the most famous empress in the immortal realm and also the youngest empress. She cultivated for less than 3 million years and is already peak immortal emperor late stage. Peak immortal emperor late stage in less than 3 million years. Lu Yiping nodded. Such talent was rare. Huang Kersen said. Yes, Empress Meng Qiantong is the person all the girls in the immortal realm admire. She's very pretty, even prettier than my mother. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao looked at Chen Yitao. Chen Yitao blushed and said. Actually Kersen is right, Empress Meng Qiantong is prettier than me. She, Heavenly Queen Mother, Jiuqian Mystical Maiden and Goddess Ho Tu are the 4 great beauties of the immortal realm. Heavenly Queen Mother is quite pretty. Taurus Longjiao smiled. Huang Kersen asked. Brother Xiaojin, have you seen Heavenly Queen Mother? Of course. Taurus Longjiao smiled. She likes our master a lot. Huang Kersen and Chen Yitao opened their mouth wide and looked at Lu Yiping in disbelief. Immortal Lord Hao Tian pursued Heavenly Queen Mother but never succeeded. This was something many people in the immortal realm knew. Heavenly Queen Mother didn't even like Immortal Lord Hao Tian, but she liked this person? Huang Kersen said in disbelief. Heavenly Queen Mother likes Big Brother? She suspected that her brother Xiao Jin was boasting. Lu smiled. Don't listen to Xiao Jin. He's just joking with you. Huang Kersen patted her chest and said, I thought brother Xiao Jin was serious, so it was just a joke. I knew it. How could Queen Mother of the West like Big Brother? Lu Yiping smiled and said, Why? Do you think Big Brother is not worthy of Queen Mother? Huang Kersen was stunned and explained. That's not it. I just don't think it's possible. Immortal Lord Hao Tian pursued Heavenly Queen Mother for tens of millions of years but never succeeded. I've never heard of Heavenly Queen Mother liking anyone. Taurus Longjiao wanted to say something, but Lu Yiping stared at Taurus Longjiao. Taurus Longjiao could only shut his mouth. He took out a jade jar and poured it into his mouth. Chen Tao noticed what Taurus Longjiao was drinking and exclaimed. Purple gold chaos water? Taurus Longjiao didn't mind. Purple gold chaos water. Huang Kersen's round eyes widened. Big brother Xiao Jin, do you usually drink the purple gold chaos water like this? She had seen her uncle and grandfather drinking the purple gold chaos water before, and they would drip it drop by drop into their mouths. Taurus Longjiao was different. He took a jade jar the size of a wine jar and poured it into his mouth. Taurus Longjiao smiled. Yes, master, and I drink it like this. Actually, this purple gold chaos water tastes like plain water. He took out another jade jar from his spatial artifact and passed it to Huang Kersen. Huang Kersen took the jade jar and was stunned. She opened the jar and saw a jar full of purple gold chaos water. Brother Xiao Jin, you gave this to me? Huang Kersen couldn't believe it. Taurus Longjiao smiled. Of course it's for you. Don't be stingy. There's more after you finish it. Huang Kersen swallowed. She thought about it and wanted to return the purple gold chaos water to Taurus Longjiao. Lu Yiping said, Keep it. We have a lot of purple gold chaos water. We usually use it to water the trees and flowers. Water the trees and flowers? Chen Tao didn't know what to say. In the end, Huang Kersen kept the purple gold chaos water. Big brother, thank you. Huang Kersen said seriously. When I grow up, I will repay you. Lu Yiping smiled. Oh, then when you grow up, how do you plan to repay us? Huang Kersen thought about it and said, When the time comes, I will earn a lot of money and give it to you. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao smiled. Chen Tao also smiled sweetly. They talked and laughed along the way. When they arrived at Ziluo City, it was dusk. The sun was setting in the west. There was a different kind of beauty. Ziluo City was very big. It was much bigger than Spirit Dragon City. It was very lively. Chen Tao had been here a few times. She was familiar with the city and found the city lord's residence. What are you looking for? The guards at the gate didn't recognize Chen Tao. I want to see your city lord. Chen Tao took out a token. My name is Chen Tao. I am your city lord's younger sister. The guards were shocked. They took the token, and when they realized it was their city lord's token, they didn't dare to delay and rushed in to report. At this time, in the main hall of the city lord's residence, Qin Zifeng was listening to the housekeeper's report. Qin Zifeng asked solemnly, My sister, you still haven't found her? The housekeeper quickly said, Not yet. Then he stuttered, I'm afraid Missy Tao has already. He stopped here and didn't dare to continue. Qin Zifeng's face was gloomy. Find out who annihilated the Dark Phoenix tribe. The news of the Dark Phoenix tribe's annihilation had spread, causing a huge commotion in the accumulated Moon mainland. When the Qin family's experts heard the news, they were furious. Who didn't know that the Dark Phoenix tribe and Qin family were close friends? Now that the Dark Phoenix tribe was annihilated, how could the Qin family not be angry? Right at this time, one of the guards rushed in and reported, Lord Castellan, there is a young lady named Chen Tao outside. She says she is your younger sister and wants to see you. What? Qin Zifeng was pleasantly surprised when he heard the news. He quickly rushed out of the residence. Outside the residence, Qin Zifeng saw Chen Tao and Huang Kersen standing outside. Yitao Kersen. Qin Zifeng called out in surprise. Big brother. Chen Tao went up to greet Qin Zifeng, tears rolling down her cheeks. Big uncle. Huang Kersen hugged Qin Zifeng's thigh and cried loudly, Many of the Dark Phoenix tribe's uncles are dead. Qin Zifeng's eyes reddened and he patted Huang Kersen's back. Kersen, don't worry, Big Uncle will find the culprit and avenge your Dark Phoenix tribe's uncles. After Chen Tao and Huang Kersen calmed down, Qin Zifeng looked at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Chapter 408. These two are? Qin Zifeng asked with a puzzled expression. Chen Yitao hurriedly introduced them to Qin Zifeng. Big brother, Kursin and I ran away from the Black Phoenix Mountain. We ran into bandits on the way and I suffered heavy injuries. It was Lord Lu and Lord Xiaojin who saved me. Otherwise I would have died long ago. Qin Zifeng cupped his fists at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Many thanks for saving my little sister. Zifeng is eternally grateful. His tone was sincere. It's nothing. Lu Yiping smiled. Huang Kursin said, Uncle, Big Brother and Big Brother Xiaojin are very powerful. Later on we ran into a group of bandits in Bright Light City. Big Brother Xiaojin only snorted once and they all died. Qin Zifeng was stunned. He smiled, is that so? Huang Kursin's words carried no harm. How would she know what was powerful? Thus he didn't take it to heart. Qin Zifeng then politely invited Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao into the residence. He then arranged a courtyard for Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Meanwhile, Qin Zifeng summoned his sister, Chen Yitao, to the main hall and asked about the Dark Phoenix tribe and Chen Yitao's journey. Chen Yitao didn't hide anything and told him everything. Qin Zifeng was relieved when he found out that his sister Chen Yitao had escaped from the Black Phoenix race. Big brother, did no one from the Black Phoenix race escape? Chen Yitao suddenly asked Qin Zifeng. Qin Zifeng knew what his sister meant. He sighed and shook his head. None of the Black Phoenix race's experts should have escaped. Chen Yitao's face was pale. Then what about Huang Huai? Huang Huai was Huang Kursin's father and her husband. Qin Zifeng shook his head and didn't say anything. Chen Yitao burst into tears. Don't worry, since it's confirmed that it's a human devil cultivator, we will definitely find the culprit and seek justice for the Black Phoenix race. Qin Zifeng comforted her. Chen Yitao nodded. By the way, do you know the background of that Master Lu? Qin Zifeng asked. Chen Yitao shook her head and said, No, I only know that his surname is Lu and that he wants to go to Demon Ox Mountain. Demonic Ox Mountain? Qin Zifeng was shocked. Purple-eyed Demonic Ox tribe? Are they from the Purple-eyed Ox Devil clan? They didn't mention that. Chen Yitao hesitated for a moment before saying, Big brother, Lord Lu is very strong. He shouldn't be weaker than Lord Father. What? Not weaker than Lord Father? Qin Zifeng exclaimed in shock. You're saying that he's a peak late-stage immortal emperor expert? Chen Yitao nodded. She then explained in detail how Taurus Longjiao killed the group of robbers. She also described the strange scene where the bodies of the robbers were suddenly blown away by the wind like loose sand. The strangest thing is that I didn't sense any energy fluctuations from Master Lu at that time, Chen Yitao said. But the corpses of those bandits just drifted away without any warning. Qin Zifeng's expression turned solemn. Also that Lord Xiaojin, he gave Kursin a jar of purple gold chaos water. Chen Yitao added, it's as big as a wine jar. She then used her hands to make an approximate shape of the jar. A wine jar of purple gold chaos water? Qin Zifeng was shocked again. Yes, he said that this purple gold chaos water tastes like plain water if one drinks too much. Sometimes they use it to water trees and flowers. Chen Yitao added. Qin Zifeng was stunned. Oh right, big brother, Lord Xiaojin also gave Kursin a top-grade immortal artifact small sword. Chen Yitao recalled something and said. She then took out the small sword and handed it over to Qin Zifeng. Qin Zifeng didn't pay much attention to it at first, but after taking a closer look he was shocked. Could this be the Crimson Radiance Emperor's Crimson Radiance Sword? What, the Crimson Radiance Emperor's Crimson Radiance Sword? Chen Yitao was shocked. The Crimson Radiance Emperor Palace was annihilated in the past. The Crimson Radiance Emperor was killed, and the Crimson Radiance Sword's whereabouts are unknown. This is the Crimson Radiance Sword? In the past, the Crimson Radiance Emperor Palace provoked someone and was annihilated. Although millions of years had passed, many experts in the accumulated Moon mainland still remembered it. In the past, the Crimson Radiance Emperor Palace was the #1 force in the accumulated Moon mainland, and the Crimson Radiance Emperor was the #1 expert in the accumulated Moon mainland. After the Crimson Radiance Emperor Palace was annihilated, the Qin family became the #1 force in the accumulated Moon mainland, and her father, Qin Wanli, became the #1 expert in the accumulated Moon mainland. Qin Zifeng stared at the small sword in front of him and said, I'm not sure if this is the Crimson Radiance Sword, but Lord Father fought with the Crimson Radiance Emperor in the past. In a few days, you and I will return to the Qin family and let Lord Father see if this is the Crimson Radiance Sword. Chen Yitao nodded. If this is the Crimson Radiance Sword, then why is it in their hands? Chen Yitao asked, could it be that they were the ones who annihilated the Crimson Radiance Emperor Palace? The Crimson Radiance Emperor was an invincible immortal emperor. Anyone who could annihilate the Crimson Radiance Emperor Palace was a heavenly venerable. Chen Zifeng's expression turned solemn. Even if they weren't the ones who annihilated the Crimson Radiance Emperor Palace, I'm afraid it was the sect or elders behind them. Right at this time, a loud boom shook the Violet Silk City, shaking the city. What's going on? Chen Zifeng's face tightened, and he flew up to the Castellan Manor. When he arrived above the Castellan Manor, he saw that the originally sunny Violet Silk City was suddenly filled with devil chi. Rays of devil light shot up to the sky, enveloping the entire Violet Silk City. Clearly, someone had arranged a devil array formation to cover the entire Violet Silk City. Then, screams sounded from all directions of the Violet Silk City. One by one, masked black-robed men walked out from the devil chi. Chen Yitao, who followed Chen Zifeng out, saw this group of masked black-robed men, and her face was filled with shock and anger. Big brother, the Black Phoenix race's people were killed by them. Chen Zifeng was shocked. There were not many masked black-robed men, only 400 to 500 of them, but each of them had a strong aura. The leader sneered, "That's right, we annihilated the Black Phoenix race. Now it's the Violet Silk City's turn. After we annihilate the Violet Silk City, the Chen family's main manor will be next." Chen Zifeng's heart sank. Why? In his memory, the Chen family did not seem to have any enmity with devil cultivators. What? The leader of the masked black-robed men laughed loudly. "No reason, just because our Lord Holy Lord has chosen your cumulus continent." Chosen our cumulus continent? Chen Zifeng was puzzled. The masked black-robed man smiled. "Our Lord Holy Lord needs a batch of souls above the golden immortal realm, so he chose your cumulus continent." Chen Zifeng's face turned ugly. Did the other party mean that he wanted to collect souls above the golden immortal realm, so he wanted to kill all the powerhouses above the golden immortal realm in the cumulus continent? Chen Zifeng suddenly flashed, and the invincible heavenly lord's immortal power was activated to the extreme. The long sword in his hand slashed at the masked black-robed man's head. As expected of an invincible heavenly lord, your strength is not weak. The leader of the masked black-robed men looked at the sword chi slashing down and smiled indifferently. "It's a pity that you're just ants to me." Then he flicked his finger. Chapter 409. A terrifying ray of light shot out from the black-robed leader's finger and pierced through Chen Zifeng's sword chi. Before Chen Zifeng could react, the terrifying ray of light hit his chest. He felt a sharp pain in his chest and his body flew out like a broken kite. In the end, he smashed into the Castellan Manor. With a loud explosion, countless buildings in the Castellan Manor were smashed into pieces. Dust billowed. The divine armor on Chen Zifeng's chest was completely shattered by the black-robed leader's finger force. Chen Zifeng vomited blood non-stop, and there was a hole in his chest. Blood continued to spurt out from the hole. "Big brother?" Chen Yitao's face turned pale. She rushed to Chen Zifeng's side and called out anxiously. Chen Zifeng looked at the black-robed leader with fear in his eyes. Immortal Emperor? The black-robed leader in front of him was actually an immortal emperor. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary immortal emperor. If it was an ordinary immortal emperor, with his invincible heavenly monarch realm strength, it was impossible for him to not be able to block a single attack. The black-robed leader chuckled. "Today, everyone in the Ziluo city will die." He then walked towards Chen Zifeng. "Since you're the Ziluo city's castellan, you'll be the first to die." As he spoke, his palm slammed down on Chen Zifeng. A black palm imprint the size of a mountain appeared above Chen Zifeng and Chen Yitao's heads in an instant, and it slammed down. Before the palm imprint landed, Chen Yitao felt like she was going to be crushed into pieces. "Mom?" A childish voice rang out. Huang Kersen cried as she rushed out from one of the Castellan Manor's courtyards. She wanted to rush towards Chen Yitao and Chen Zifeng. When the black-robed leader saw Huang Kersen rushing out, he chuckled and increased the strength in his palm. The palm imprint expanded and enveloped Huang Kersen within it. Just as the palm imprint was about to turn Huang Kersen, Chen Yitao, and Chen Zifeng into meat paste, the black palm imprint suddenly stopped in midair without any warning. Time and space seemed to have stopped. The black-robed leader and the group of black-robed men behind him were stunned. "I wonder which expert is here?" The black-robed leader looked around and said solemnly, "Please come out." As soon as he finished speaking, 2 figures, one in blue and one in gold, walked out from a courtyard in the city lord's mansion. The 2 figures didn't walk very fast, but when they passed by the huge black palm print, the huge black palm print collapsed inch by inch, turning into wisps of black gas that dissipated with the wind. The leader of the masked men in black was shocked. This black palm print was condensed from the immortal emperor's power in his body. Even experts at the same level as him would not be able to disperse it silently. Who are you? The leader of the masked men in black stared at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao with a grave expression. Before he attacked, he had already checked. There were no immortal emperors in Ziluo City. These two people should not be from Ziluo City. Holy Master? Lu Yiping looked at him expressionlessly. You are the Inyang Bora race's lackeys. Panic flashed in the eyes of the masked black-clothed leader. A large saber appeared in his hand, and he suddenly slashed at Lu Yiping. At the same time he roared to his subordinates behind him, "Kill! Kill everyone in Ziluo City!" Looking at the incoming saber, Lu Yiping remained calm. With a flick of his finger, the leader of the masked men in black was sent flying. The huge saber in his hand shattered into countless pieces, scattering all over the ground. When the leader of the masked men in black crashed to the ground, his black robe, divine armor, and even his mask shattered, revealing the face of a middle-aged man. Seeing the middle-aged man's face, Chen Zifeng exclaimed, "Purple Yang Immortal Emperor." Chen Yitao was also surprised. The Purple Yang Immortal Emperor was the patriarch of the Celestial Demon Palace on the Lingxiao continent, which was right next to the Baiyue continent. He was also a very famous Celestial Emperor on the Lingxiao continent. The Celestial Demon Palace had always been on good terms with the Chen clan. Is it the Celestial Devil Palace that annihilated the Dark Phoenix clan? Chen Zifeng was furious. The Purple Yang Immortal Emperor wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Lu Yiping in shock and anger. Hearing Chen Zifeng's words, he laughed but did not answer. At this time the group of men in black scattered and rushed toward Ziluo City. When they were about to massacre the people in Ziluo City, Taurus Longjiao snorted coldly. With a flick of his finger, countless lightning bolts flew out. These lightning bolts instantly engulfed the group of men in black. When the lightning bolts disappeared, the group of men in black fell to the ground and turned into charred corpses. Chen Zifeng was shocked. Although he did not know the exact strength of these men in black, judging from the aura they exuded, each of them should be a lord of heaven. Two of them were even stronger than him and should be immortal emperors like the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor. But now they were all killed by Taurus Longjiao with a flick of his finger. The Purple Yang Immortal Emperor was also shocked when he saw all the experts he brought with him were killed by Taurus Longjiao with a flick of his finger. Lu Yiping did not say anything. He grabbed the air and pulled the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor in front of him. The Purple Yang Immortal Emperor found that the strength in his body was completely sealed and he could not move at all. His eyes were filled with fear as he begged, "My lord, please spare my life. We were just following orders." Lu Yiping said coldly, "I know." After a pause he said, "That's why you deserve to die." Then he struck out his palm and endless chaos divine flame rushed into the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor's body. After the chaos divine flame rushed into the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor's body, it destroyed everything in his body, including his internal organs. The Purple Yang Immortal Emperor screamed in pain. However, Lu Yiping controlled the power of the Chaos Divine Flame and did not kill the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor immediately. Chen Zifeng, Chen Yitao, and the others were shocked when they saw the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor screaming in pain. One had to know that the Immortal Emperor's will was extremely strong and could endure almost any kind of pain. But now the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor was still screaming in pain. After burning for a while, Lu Yiping extracted the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor's memory fragments. After looking through them, he flicked the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor away. When the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor was sent flying, the Chaos Divine Flame completely enveloped him. Amidst the miserable screams, the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor was incinerated, not even ashes were left. Seeing that the Purple Yang Immortal Emperor and the others were killed by Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, Chen Zifeng struggled to get up and walk towards Lu Yiping. He said respectfully, "Zifeng, thanks my lord for saving us." Lu Yiping sent out a finger force and a green light entered Chen Zifeng's body. Chen Zifeng felt a warm current flowing through his body and the injuries he suffered earlier healed at an astonishing speed. "It's nothing. Moreover, I have some connections with your Chen family," Lu Yiping said. He then said, "Clean up the scene and seal off the news." Chen Zifeng nodded respectfully. He knew that Lu Yiping was worried that the news would leak and alert the Divine Devil Palace. "Let's go," Lu Yiping said to Taurus Longjiao. Since he knew that the Divine Devil Palace had submitted to the Inyang Bora race, he naturally had to make a trip to the Divine Devil Palace. Moreover, the Divine Devil Palace was not far from the demonic Bull Mountain. Chapter 410. Just as Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were about to leave, Huang Kersen suddenly called out, Big brother Xiao Jin. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao stopped. Huang Kersen ran over and hugged Lu Yiping. Big brother, will we be able to meet again in the future? Chen Zifeng and Chen Yitao jumped in shock when they saw Huang Kersen hugging Lu Yiping. Immortal Emperor Ziyang was a late-stage immortal emperor, but Lu Yiping sent him flying with a flick of his finger. It was clear that Lu Yiping was a heavenly venerate expert. Heavenly venerates were supreme existences in the immortal world. How could a little girl like Huang Kersen blaspheme them so easily? Just as Chen Zifeng and Chen Yitao were about to pull Huang Kersen away, Lu Yiping waved his hand at the two of them, indicating that he was fine. Lu Yiping rubbed Huang Kersen's head and smiled, Of course we will meet again. When Big Brother has time in the future, I will visit you at the Chen family's headquarters. Huang Kersen smiled happily, Alright, then I will wait for Big Brother and Big Brother Xiao Jin at the Chen family's headquarters. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao smiled. Under Huang Kersen's reluctant gaze, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao flew into the sky and disappeared in the blink of an eye. After the two of them left for a long time, Chen Zifeng and Chen Yitao stood up. Chen Zifeng looked at the direction Lu Yiping disappeared and didn't move his gaze away for a long time. He was guessing Lu Yiping's identity. After a long time, Chen Zifeng retracted his gaze and looked at the hundreds of black-robed men's corpses on the ground. His face sank. I didn't expect even the God Devil Palace to submit to the Dark Borer race. The Dark Borer race wanted to unify the 10,000 worlds and wreaked havoc in the various worlds. This was something that everyone knew. Therefore, the various experts in the 10,000 worlds didn't have a good impression of the Dark Borer race. Big brother, let's go back to the Chen family's main residence first, Chen Yitao said. Chen Zifeng nodded, and then he summoned his subordinates and ordered them to prepare to return to the Chen family's main residence immediately. After Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left Ziluo City, they activated the power of Spacetime Great Path and teleported continuously. Soon they left the Cumulus mainland and arrived at the Lingxiao mainland. The two of them rushed towards the God Devil Palace without stopping. Just as Lu Yiping was heading towards the Divine Devil Palace, the Divine Devil Palace master Fan Xiaozhou was studying a long sword with a group of Divine Devil Palace patriarchs. This sword was only as long as an infant's arm. The body of the sword was covered with densely packed teeth marks. These teeth marks were scattered in a picturesque manner. From afar they looked like patterns. They had obtained this sword from a sect's treasury after they had annihilated it. After studying it for a while, they increasingly felt that this sword was the key to opening a certain treasure. However, they were still unable to activate the restriction within the sword. Don't these teeth marks look like constellations? An old ancestor of God Devil Palace suddenly asked. Constellations? Fan Xiaozhou took a closer look. It looks like a star array diagram from the primordial era? Another old ancestor added. Just as Fan Xiaozhou and the rest were studying the sword, the God Devil Palace shook violently, causing the entire palace to shake violently. The palace where Fan Xiaozhou and the rest were in began to crumble. Fan Xiaozhou and the rest flew out of the main hall in shock. Just as they flew out, the main hall behind them collapsed completely, turning into ruins. The Divine Devil Palace's experts were shocked and enraged. When they looked over, they saw that the other peaks of the Divine Devil Palace were also crumbling and collapsing. One by one, the palaces were buried by the collapsing peaks. As the peaks collapsed, sand and dust billowed. While the Divine Devil Palace's experts were still in shock and anger, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao passed through the sand and dust, walking towards the Divine Devil Palace's experts. Just as Fan Xiaozhou was about to speak, Taurus Longjiao suddenly punched out. In an instant, the Divine Devil Palace's space trembled, and divine lightning rumbled in the sky. Within the divine lightning, resplendent holy light shone. When Fan Xiaozhou and the rest saw the resplendent holy light within the divine lightning, their faces changed. Holy light. Then they looked at Taurus Longjiao, Saint Realm expert. Fan Xiaozhou and the Divine Devil Palace's experts who were about to attack fled in panic. Indifferent to Fan Xiaozhou and the rest, Taurus Longjiao smiled when he saw Fan Xiaozhou and the rest trying to escape. At this time, the divine lightning in the sky arrived behind Fan Xiaozhou and the rest. When Fan Xiaozhou and the rest turned around, they saw the divine lightning in front of them. The Divine Devil Palace's experts were struck by the divine lightning, and exploded one after another. Fan Xiaozhou was blasted into the distant mountain range. Loud explosions shook the heavens and the earth cracked. Hundreds of millions of Divine Devil Palace's disciples fled in a frenzy. Before they could see what Lu Yiping did, the storm formed and engulfed every corner of the Divine Devil Palace. Screams filled the air. Blood rained down. The Divine Devil Palace was in chaos. Some of the Divine Devil Palace's disciples hid underground, hoping to use the power of the ground to escape the disaster. However, the storm passed through the ground and nothing could stop it. Soon, the Divine Devil Palace regained its peace. Lu Yiping came to Fan Xiaozhou and pulled him out of the ruins. Fan Xiaozhou was on his last breath. He looked at Lu Yiping and asked, "Why?" "What?" Indifferent to Fan Xiaozhou's question, Taurus Longjiao smiled and slapped Fan Xiaozhou's face, completely deforming it. "You know the Yinba clan, right?" Taurus Longjiao said, "Don't tell me you don't know them." Fan Xiaozhou was startled, then laughed, "There's no harm in telling you. Our Lord Holy Lord has joined forces with the Lord of the Demon World. The Demon World's army will invade the immortal world soon. Anyone who goes against our Lord Holy Lord will not have a good ending. It's not too late for you to submit to the Yinba clan now." Lu Yiping couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. He retrieved his memory fragments, read them, and burned him to ashes with Dao fire. Lu Yiping frowned after killing Fan Xiaozhou. He thought Fan Xiaozhou knew about the Yinba clan's Holy Lord, but Fan Xiaozhou was just an insignificant character in the Yinba clan. The one who usually contacted Fan Xiaozhou was only an unnamed disciple of the Yinba clan's Holy Lord. Moreover, the disciple in name of the sacred Lord of the Dark Borer race wore a mask every time he contacted Fan Xiaozhou. Therefore, Fan Xiaozhou did not know the true identity of the disciple in name. He only knew that this disciple should be from the immortal world's heavenly court. Holy Lord, this old man hid very well. Even the Yin Valley didn't know where he was hiding. "I'm afraid the Lord of the Demon World doesn't know either," Taurus Longjiao said. Lu Yiping thought for a moment and said, "Let's go to Demon Bull Mountain first." Since he knew that the Yinba clan's Holy Lord's unnamed disciple was in the immortal world's heavenly court, he could look for him when the time came. It didn't matter if he couldn't find him. If the Demon World's army invaded the immortal world, the Yinba clan's Holy Lord would definitely appear. However, just as Lu Yiping was about to leave, he suddenly saw a sword in the ruins in the distance. He walked forward and pulled the sword out of the ruins. "Is this the Buzhou Sky Sword?" Taurus Longjiao was surprised when he saw the sword full of teeth marks. The Buzhou Sky Sword was one of the immemorial Celestial Emperor's swords. Chapter 411. It is the Buzhou Sky Sword. Lu Yiping nodded. In the past few years he had comprehended the 100 steels. There were records of the Buzhou Sky Sword in the steels, so Lu Yiping was certain that the tooth mark in front of him was the Buzhou Sky Sword. Moreover, Lu Yiping knew that there were two Buzhou Sky Swords. When the two Buzhou Sky Swords merged into one, they would be able to find the immemorial Heavenly Court's treasury. In the past, the immemorial Heavenly Court was attacked by the long-armed Divine Ape race and the Yin-Yang Borer race. The immemorial Heavenly Court's supreme treasure was destroyed and the whereabouts of the immemorial Heavenly Emperor's treasury were unknown. Until now, the long-armed Divine Ape race and the Yin-Yang Borer race were still searching for the immemorial Heavenly Court's treasury. Lu Yiping touched the sword body and the tooth marks on the sword body lit up. Starlight burst out and illuminated the surroundings as if they had entered the starry sky. Previously, Fan Xiaozhou and the Fiend God Palace's ancestor had used all sorts of methods to break through the Buzhou Sky Sword's restrictions. But now, Lu Yiping had unlocked all of the restrictions with a casual swipe of his hand. After the starlight shone out from the sword body, it formed a star diagram in the surrounding space. However, this star diagram was incomplete. When the two swords merged into one and the star diagram was complete, they would be able to find the immemorial Heavenly Court's treasury. Lu Yiping kept the Buzhou Sky Sword in the cauldron of heaven and earth and then headed towards the Demon Bull Mountain with Taurus Longjiao. When they left, Taurus Longjiao took away the Fiend God Palace's treasury. The Demon Bull Mountain was located in the east of the High Firmament mainland, not far from the Fiend God Palace. Therefore the two soon saw the mountain from afar. Taurus Longjiao couldn't hide the excitement in his heart as he looked at the Demon Bull Mountain illuminated by the sunlight in the distance. Lu Yiping looked at the Demon Bull Mountain with mixed emotions. Several million years ago, when he and Taurus Longjiao left the mountain, he wasn't even a saint. Now not only was he a saint, but he was also a Tao-confirming saint. After stopping for a while, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao walked towards Demon Ox Mountain. When they arrived, the Demon Ox Mountain was decorated with lanterns and colored banners. It seemed like a joyous occasion was being held. Experts from the surrounding forces were streaming into the Demon Ox Mountain in an endless stream. Taurus Longjiao stopped one of them and asked. Only then did he learn that the patriarch of the purple-eyed ox demon clan wanted to accept a disciple. So it's that brat Niu Gang who wants to accept a disciple. Taurus Longjiao laughed. Back then Niu Gang had followed behind him obediently. Many years had passed and he had become the clan leader. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao followed the crowd into the Demon Ox Mountain. Although Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao did not have an invitation, the Demon Ox Demon Clan's disciples did not stop them. Instead, they politely invited Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao in. The Demon Ox Mountain was one of the strongest forces in the high firmament mainland, and it was as famous as the Fiend God Palace. Therefore, there were many experts who came to participate in the celebration. Lu Yiping glanced around and estimated that there were at least 100,000 people in the square. At this time, the Demon Ox Demon Clan's patriarch, Niu Gang, was sitting with several ancient clans' patriarchs chatting happily. Suddenly, the Golden Sparrow race's patriarch spoke. The Dark Phoenix race, Hidden Fog Immortal Sect, and Twin Dragons Valley were annihilated one after another. The immortal world is becoming more and more chaotic. Everyone in the hall quieted down. At this time, the White Tiger race's patriarch's communication symbol vibrated. He took it out and was shocked. He said to Niu Gang and the others, I just received news that the Fiend God Palace was annihilated. What? Niu Gang and the others were flabbergasted. When did this happen? Niu Gang couldn't believe it. The Fiend God Palace was located not far from the Demon Ox Mountain. How could the Fiend God Palace be annihilated? It was annihilated not long ago. The White Tiger race's patriarch said, Fan Xiaozhou, the Fiend God Palace's several hundred ancestors and several 100 million disciples, none of them managed to escape. Niu Gang and the others looked at each other in shock. The Fiend God Palace was one of the strongest forces in the high firmament mainland, no weaker than the Demon Ox Mountain. Yet, not a single person managed to escape? Right at this time, the Demon Ox clan's disciple outside shouted, The Silver Wolf race's patriarch has arrived. Niu Gang frowned hearing that. The Demon Ox clan and the Silver Wolf race had always been enemies. What was Lang Guangyao doing at the Demon Ox Mountain? The Golden Sparrow race's patriarch, White Tiger race's patriarch, and the others looked at Niu Gang. They were all aware of the enmity between the Silver Wolf race and the Demon Ox clan. Let him in, Niu Gang said. Just as he finished speaking, a large number of experts of the Silver Wolf clan rushed in from the outside. There were a lot of people from the Silver Wolf clan, perhaps several thousand of them. Moreover, all of them were experts. The disciples of the Demon Ox clan who were guarding outside wanted to stop them, but they were all sent flying by the experts of the Silver Wolf clan. The Golden Sparrow race's patriarch, White Tiger race's patriarch, and the others were surprised when they saw Lang Guangyao leading the Silver Wolf race's experts to injure the Demon Ox clan's disciples and barge in. Niu Gang stood up and walked out with the Demon Ox clan's experts. When they arrived outside the hall, Niu Gang's face sank when he saw the Silver Wolf race's experts rushing in. He looked at Lang Guangyao and asked, Lang Guangyao, what's the meaning of this? Lang Guangyao didn't answer. Instead, he introduced the middle-aged man beside him to Niu Gang. Niu Gang, this is General Yu Liang from the Heavenly Court. He then added, General Yu Liang is a general. Whether it was Niu Gang, the Golden Sparrow race's patriarch, or the White Tiger race's patriarch, their expressions changed when they heard that. Only heavenly venerables could become a general of the Heavenly Court. The late-stage immortal Emperor Niu Gang hurriedly cupped his fists and said, Niu Gang of the Demon Ox clan greets Lord Yu Liang. The Golden Sparrow race's patriarch, the White Tiger race's patriarch and the others also hurriedly stepped forward to greet him. General Yu Liang from the Heavenly Court had his hands behind his back. He nodded and said proudly, I didn't come here for anything special. Your eldest disciple, Niu Yushu, colluded with the demon world and killed our Heavenly Court's experts. I request the higher-ups of your Demon Ox clan to follow me back to investigate. What? Niu Gang and the higher-ups of the Demon Ox clan didn't dare to believe it. Impossible. Niu Gang immediately said, My eldest disciple couldn't have colluded with the demon world. Where is he? Niu Gang knew his eldest disciple very well. He stayed by his side all year round and his only hobby was to study formations. Moreover, he watched him grow up. How could he have colluded with the demon world? Your eldest disciple? Lang Guangyao smiled indifferent. He's naturally in Yama's prison. Yama's prison. Niu Gang and the other Demon Ox clan's experts' hearts sank. Yama's prison was a place where the Heavenly Court of the immortal world imprisoned criminals. Basically, after entering it they wouldn't have the chance to come out. Yu Liang looked at Niu Gang and said indifferently, "Correct, your eldest disciple is now in Yama's prison. Now all of you follow me to Yama's prison." His voice wasn't loud but it was unquestionable. Niu Gang suppressed the anger in his heart and said, "Lord Yu Liang, you came here and accused my eldest disciple of colluding with the demon world. Then you want to imprison all the higher-ups of the Demon Ox clan in Yama's prison. Isn't this against the rules? Generally speaking, only when there was conclusive evidence would one be locked up in a place like Yama's prison, which was a place of severe punishment. But now Yu Liang wanted to imprison all the higher-ups of the Demon Ox clan without even investigating. Chapter 412. Niu Gang continued, "Moreover, I don't know if my eldest disciple is really colluding with the demon world." Yu Liang's eyes turned cold. "You mean to say that I'm framing your eldest disciple?" Lang Guangyao shouted at Niu Gang, "Niu Gang, you've got guts. You actually dare to question Sir Yu Liang in the heavenly court?" One of the ox demon ancestors couldn't help retorting, "Even if Niu Yushi was really colluding with the demon world, it doesn't mean that our entire ox demon clan is colluding with the demon world. You want to imprison all of our higher-ups in the Yama prison? You're clearly framing us for colluding with the demon world." Yu Liang suddenly struck out with his palm, sending that ox demon ancestor flying. The old ancestor of the ox demon clan smashed into the main hall with a loud bang, causing the ground to shake. Everyone looked at him in shock, only to see a huge blood-red palm imprint on his chest. The palm imprint had almost penetrated his chest. No one expected Yu Liang to suddenly make a move, and so heavily at that. Niu Gang and the other ox demon ancestors couldn't help glaring at Yu Liang. Indifferent, Yu Liang swept his gaze over Niu Gang and the other ox demon ancestors present. "What, you want to rebel? I advise you to stay put. Outside is the heavenly court's army of 1,000,000. If you dare to make a move, I'll give the order and the army will come in. At that time your entire ox demon clan will be wiped out." Hearing that the heavenly court's army had arrived, Niu Gang and the others couldn't help but be alarmed. At this time a voice sounded, "Stop." Everyone looked over, only to see a tall and sturdy ox demon clan powerhouse with a golden horn on his head walking over. This person was the ox demon clan's strongest powerhouse, Niu Yi, and also Taurus Longjiao's uncle. Seeing Niu Yi's arrival, Yu Liang's expression remained calm. Although Niu Yi was also a heavenly venerable, he was only an early heavenly venerable, while Yu Liang was a mid-heavenly venerable. "Old patriarch." Niu Gang and the others hastily stepped forward to greet Niu Yi. Niu Yi nodded. He glanced at the heavily injured ancestor in the main hall and frowned. He looked at Yu Liang. "General Yu Liang, right? If you have evidence to prove that the higher-ups of our ox demon clan colluded with the demon realm, we can follow you to the Yama prison." After a pause, his voice turned cold. "If you don't have any proof, then forgive our ox demon clan for being unable to listen to you." Then he added, "Furthermore, you came to our ox demon clan and seriously injured our old ancestor for no reason. You have to give us an explanation." Hearing Niu Yi's words, Yu Liang laughed heartily. His laughter was full of ridicule. "You want me to give your ox demon clan an explanation?" Saying this, his aura rose sharply. "Good, then I'll give your ox demon clan an explanation." Suddenly he sent a palm strike towards Niu Yi. Yu Liang had not used his full strength just now. Now that he no longer concealed his strength, he struck out with his full strength. His palm energy whistled through the air, causing everyone present to feel suffocated. Niu Yi was also shocked. Middle stage heavenly venerable. Niu Yi couldn't help retreating, but Yu Liang's palm force was too fast. Just as it was about to hit Niu Yi's chest, a golden light pierced through the air. The golden light was so fast that no one could see it clearly. In the blink of an eye, it slashed across Yu Liang's palm force. By the time everyone reacted, Yu Liang's palm force had already been cut into countless pieces. Then Yu Liang's palm force dissipated. Not only Niu Yi, Niu Gang, Lang Guangyao and the others, but even Yu Liang was stunned. Everyone looked in the direction of the golden light and saw two figures, one blue and one gold, walking in. When Niu Yi and Niu Gang saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, their faces were filled with disbelief, excitement and joy. "Lord Lu, big brother Xiaojin?" Niu Gang shouted in pleasant surprise. Although several million years had passed, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's appearances had not changed. Therefore, Niu Gang recognized Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao at a glance. Niu Yi also stepped forward excitedly, stopping in front of Lu Yiping and bowing, "Lord Lu." Lu Yiping helped Niu Yi up, smiling as he said, "I've said it before, there's no need to be so courteous when you see me in the future. Taurus Longjiao grinned at Niu Yi. Great uncle, I'm back. Niu Yi smiled amiably. It's good that you're back. Little gang has been waiting for you, looking forward to your return every day. Yu Liang's face sank when he saw Niu Yi, Niu Gang, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao chatting happily, completely ignoring him. Looking at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, Yu Liang said, since you're also from the Ox Demon clan, follow me to the Yama's prison with the Ox Demon clan's higher-ups. When Taurus Longjiao heard that Yu Liang was going to imprison him and Lu Yiping in the Yama's prison, he grinned and walked over to Yu Liang. Niu Yi didn't see that it was Taurus Longjiao who broke Taurus Longjiao's palm. Seeing that Taurus Longjiao was about to make a move, Niu Yi couldn't help but say, Xiao Jin, don't be impulsive, you're not his opponent. Several million years ago, when Taurus Longjiao left, he wasn't even an immortal emperor. In Niu Yi's heart, even if Taurus Longjiao had broken through to the immortal emperor realm, he was still far from being Yu Liang's opponent. Just as Niu Yi's words fell, Taurus Longjiao's palm flew towards Yu Liang. Seeing this, Yu Liang smiled indifferent, you're courting death. He suddenly sent out a palm to meet Taurus Longjiao's palm. Bang! The moment Yu Liang's palm collided with Taurus Longjiao's palm, Yu Liang felt an unimaginably terrifying force rushing towards him. Yu Liang's face felt like it was hit by a chaotic beast. With a loud crack, he was sent flying towards the Silver Wolf clan's experts like a kite with a broken string. Lang Guangyao dodged in a panic. However, the Silver Wolf clan's experts behind him were sent flying one after another. Miserable screams filled the air. After plowing a path through the Silver Wolf clan's experts, Yu Liang's body landed at the end of the square. Everyone looked over in shock and saw that Yu Liang's face and head had been slapped out of shape, dripping with blood. Everyone was dumbfounded, including Niu Yi and Niu Gang. The Silver Wolf clan's patriarch, Lang Guangyao, looked at Taurus Longjiao in horror. Yu Liang was a mid-stage heavenly venerable, yet he was sent flying with a single slap. What kind of strength was this? Even an ordinary late-stage heavenly venerable wouldn't be able to do that. Was he a peak late-stage heavenly venerable? Or an invincible heavenly venerable? An invincible heavenly venerable was the strongest person below the Saint Realm. Taurus Longjiao looked at Yin Guangyao. Yin Guangyao's face changed as he retreated in shock. He stuttered, there are 1,000,000 heavenly courts troops outside. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Taurus Longjiao grabbed him. Taurus Longjiao's left hand pinched Yin Guangyao, then he raised his right hand and slapped Yin Guangyao's face. Yin Guangyao's face exploded, blood, flesh and bones splattered all over the ground. Taurus Longjiao slapped Yin Guangyao's head again. This time Yin Guangyao's head exploded. Everyone turned pale when they saw Taurus Longjiao slapping Yin Guangyao to death in such a simple and crude manner. Yin Guangyao was an invincible immortal emperor, yet he was slapped to death. At this time, a Silver Wolf clan's expert notified the Heavenly Court's army outside. The Heavenly Court's army swarmed in like a swarm of locusts. Taurus Longjiao sneered when he saw the Heavenly Court's army. Chapter 413. The million-strong army of the Heaven Court was shocked to see Yu Liangxian lying on the square in the distance, covered in blood. Lord Yu Liang? One of the commanders rushed to Yu Liang's side and called out. Lord Yu Liang opened his eyes and glared at Taurus Longjiao and Lu Yiping. His hatred and killing intent soared to the sky as he roared, the Ox Demon race colluded with the Devil World, kill them for me. Annihilate the Ox Demon race, kill. Yu Liang's hatred couldn't be quelled and he roared, set up the Demon Extermination Grand Formation, kill them all. The Heavenly Court's army immediately set up the Demon Extermination Grand Formation. Layers of golden light bloomed as the army threw the spears in their hands. In an instant, the 1,000,000 spears rained down on Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, Niu Yi, and the rest. The destructive power of the 1,000,000 spears caused the Golden Sparrow race and White Tiger race's experts to turn pale. The Golden Sparrow race and White Tiger race's experts hurriedly retreated, afraid of being caught in the crossfire. The White Tiger race's patriarch retreated to a safe distance, watching the 1,000,000 spears flying towards Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. He shook his head and said, going against the Heavenly Court, foolish? In the immortal world, no matter how strong one was, going against the Heavenly Court meant death. No matter how strong one was, it was impossible to go against the Heavenly Court. It seems like the Ox Demon race is destined to perish. The Golden Sparrow race's patriarch shook his head and sighed. Taurus Longjiao looked at the 1,000,000 spears raining down on him and the Heavenly Court's heavenly pillar appeared in his hand. In an instant, the heavenly court's heavenly pillar grew to the size of a pillar supporting the heavens. Taurus Longjiao roared and the heavenly pillar in his hand swept out. Wherever the heavenly pillar swept across, all the spears turned into dust. The sky full of spears exploded into nothingness. Everyone was dumbfounded. Saint Energy. A saint expert. The Golden Sparrow race's patriarch, White Tiger race's patriarch, Yu Liang, and the rest exclaimed in shock. The golden retriever in front of them was neither a peak late-stage heavenly venerable nor an invincible heavenly venerable, but a saint expert. Once he became a saint, he would be a half-saint. The difference between a saint and an invincible celestial venerable was like heaven and earth. Yu Liang's heart sank. He hadn't expected the Demon Ox clan to have a saint realm master. Niu Yi, Niu Gang and the others were also shocked. They never thought that Taurus Longjiao had already entered the saint realm. At this moment, Taurus Longjiao's body suddenly shone with golden light. He soared into the sky and swung the heavenly pillar in his hand again. The heavenly pillar, which contained an astonishing amount of holy power, swept towards the heavenly court's army. Instantly, the heavenly court's million-strong army fell to the ground like rain. Some of them exploded in midair. The million-strong army of the heavenly court and the demon-exterminating army were no match for Taurus Longjiao. I'll destroy you with one strike. There was no room for discussion. As the heavenly pillar swept across, no one in the heavenly court's army could stop it. An immortal emperor commander frantically activated a chaos spiritual treasure grade shield in an attempt to block Taurus Longjiao's super cudgel. However, the shield was instantly destroyed by the heavenly pillar along with the commander. Blood rained down from the sky. However, the blood of the heavenly court's army did not fall. It was as if an invisible force was holding them back. It was Liu Yiping who was controlling the blood with his mind power and not letting it drip down. Naturally, he wouldn't allow the blood of the heavenly court's army to fall and taint the Demon Ox Mountain. In a sense, the Demon Ox Mountain could be considered his home in the immortal world. A heavenly court commander saw Taurus Longjiao sweeping the heavenly pillar towards him and shouted in fear, "My master is the heavenly court's marshal Yen Quan." Yen Quan was one of the 4 strongest marshals in the heavenly court. He guarded the immortal world and was also a saint realm master. However, Taurus Longjiao's heavenly pillar did not stop and swept through his body. The commander who claimed his master was the heavenly court's marshal Yen Quan was instantly destroyed like the rest of the heavenly court's army. Everyone's expression changed. This person is crazy. He even dares to kill Marshal Yen Quan's disciple. Marshal Yen Quan is a saint realm master who's been in the immortal world for millions of years. It's said that he's only half a step away from becoming a saint. Many of the experts in the crowd discussed in shock. Taurus Longjiao's expression did not change. His heavenly pillar continued to sweep. It continued until it reached the end of the heavenly court's army. It only stopped when it swept through the last heavenly court soldier. The heavenly court's army was swept clean. The heavenly court's army that had filled the sky like a swarm of locusts was now empty. Sunlight shone down from the sky and dyed the Demon Ox Mountain with a layer of golden light. Taurus Longjiao landed in front of Yu Liang. Yu Liang was terrified. His voice was hoarse as he stuttered, "Even if you're a saint realm master, you won't have a good end for going against the heavenly court. You don't have to worry about that." Taurus Longjiao said coldly as he stabbed the heavenly pillar into Yu Liang's chest. Boom. The Demon Ox Mountain shook. Yu Liang was blasted into the ground by the heavenly pillar. He was deader than dead. The heavenly court's generals had a high status, second only to the heavenly court's marshals. Generally speaking, they would only fall in wars between worlds. But now, before the war with the Devil World had even begun, Yu Liang had died on the Demon Ox Mountain. Watching Taurus Longjiao kill Yu Liang without any hesitation, everyone was shocked. Niu Yi and Niu Gang wanted to stop Taurus Longjiao, but they were a step too late. Just as they opened their mouths, they saw Yu Liang being blasted into the ground. Their mouths were agape and they felt their throats go dry. After killing Yu Liang with one strike, Taurus Longjiao looked at the remaining Silver Wolf tribe experts. While the remaining Silver Wolf tribe experts were still in a state of panic, Taurus Longjiao merely sneezed. In an instant, lightning energy rumbled, blasting the remaining Silver Wolf tribe experts away. At this point, the Silver Wolf tribe experts, the Heavenly Court's army and the Heavenly Court's generals Yu Liang were all dead. But in the next moment, some experts noticed that the huge pit where Yu Liang was blasted into had been restored to its original state. Even the buildings on the Demon Ox Mountain were undamaged. Niu Yi waited for Taurus Longjiao to stop, then walked over with a bitter smile on his face. Lord Lu, Big Brother Xiao Jin, you were too impulsive. Niu Gang and the Demon Ox clan's experts were also worried. Lu Yiping's expression remained unchanged and he said with a smile, sometimes, being impulsive isn't necessarily a bad thing. Niu didn't know what to say. Even the Heavenly Court's army of 1,000,000 was annihilated, and even the Heavenly Court's generals were killed. How was this not a bad thing? Could it be that killing the Heavenly Court's generals was a bad thing? Subsequently, Niu Gang's disciple ceremony continued. However, the Demon Ox clan's experts couldn't bring themselves to celebrate when they thought of the Heavenly Court's wrath. At this time, far away in the central continent, there stood a majestic divine mountain. It was the immortal world's #1 divine mountain, Mount Kunlun. On the summit of Mount Kunlun stood a peerless beauty, looking at the rolling clouds in front of her in a daze. Where are you now? The peerless beauty muttered to herself, are you all right? Speaking of this, she took out a jade tablet and carefully rubbed it in her hand, as if she was rubbing the lover she yearned for day and night. Chapter 4:14. While the beauty stared at the clouds in a daze, a pure beauty who looked like a maid walked over from afar. She bowed and said, Queen Mother, the peaches in the garden are about to ripen. May I know who will be invited to the Feast of Peaches? The Queen Mother of the Heavens wasn't interested at all. She said, what's so interesting about the Feast of Peaches without him? She'd met him for the first time at the Feast of Peaches. She still remembered his peerless charm, his elegance, and his domineering aura. But he'd never been to the Feast of Peaches after that. Without him, the Feast of Peaches was meaningless to her. Keep the invitation list as usual, the Queen Mother said lazily. Queen Mother of the West said lazily, after Little Red is done, let me look through it again and see if there's anything to add. Yes, Queen Mother, the pure beauty replied respectfully. A while later Lil Red finished the list and handed it to the Queen Mother. The first one to be invited was Hao Tian, the ruler of the celestial world. The Empress frowned when she saw Hao Tian's name. She took out a pen and crossed out Hao Tian's name. Then she gave the list back to her maid, Xiao Hong. Invite him according to this list. In the future, don't invite Hao Tian to the Feast of Peaches. Lil Red opened her mouth to persuade the Queen Mother, but didn't say anything in the end. She left with the order. News of the Queen Mother's peaches ripening and the Feast of Peaches soon spread. Those who received the Queen Mother's invitation were overjoyed. In the heavenly court of the immortal world, the Lord of the immortal world, Hao Tian, didn't look too good when he didn't receive the Queen Mother's invitation. Your Majesty, the Queen Mother doesn't know what's good for her. Marshal Ma Teng snorted beside Hao Tian. Your Majesty is the Lord of the immortal world. It's her fortune that you've taken a liking to her. But she's been rejecting your Majesty for so many years. How dare she not invite your Majesty to the Feast of Peaches? She doesn't know what's good for her. Ma Teng's words angered Hao Tian. As the Lord of the immortal world he had all kinds of women. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't win the Queen Mother's heart, let alone possess her body. The Queen Mother kept rejecting him, and this became the laughing stock of the entire celestial world. At this time Ma Teng added, Your Majesty, why don't you make a move and suppress this Queen Mother of the West, capture her, and bring her back to the heavenly palace? You can occupy her body first, and at that time, you won't have to fear that her heart will not belong to you. Hao Tian's eyes flickered. Actually, it wasn't that he hadn't thought of this idea before. However, every time he thought of the backing behind the Queen Mother, he was terrified. Others might not know the true identity of the Queen Mother, but he more or less knew. Your Majesty. Seeing that Hao Tian was moved, Ma Teng continued, You are now the strongest in the myriad of worlds, why do you have to worry about the people behind the Queen Mother? Hao Tian thought for a moment and shook his head, There's no hurry. Let's talk about it after I comprehend the Grand Tao of Destiny. Once I comprehend the Grand Tao of Destiny, I'll be the true #1 expert in the myriad of worlds. At this point, a domineering aura swept out from his body. It won't be too late to suppress her then. Among the 3,000 Grand Taos, the Grand Tao of Destiny was ranked second. As long as he comprehended the Grand Tao of Destiny, he would be able to control the fate of all living beings in the myriad of worlds. At that time he wouldn't have to be afraid of anything. Right, Your Majesty, there's news from the Aparagodania continent. There's a situation in the High Firmament continent. Ma Teng suddenly remembered something and said, The Demon Ox Mountain colluded with the Demon World. General Yu Liang led 1,000,000 troops to capture the Demon Ox clan, but a Saint Realm expert appeared in the Demon Ox clan. Yu Liang and 1,000,000 troops were killed by the other party. Hao Tian was stunned and raised his eyebrows. A Saint Realm expert? Ma Ting nodded. Even Yin Quan's disciple was killed by the other party. He then added, after killing Yu Liang and our heavenly court's million troops, the other party went to the Yama prison. Not only did they kill the experts guarding the Yama prison, but they also destroyed the Yama prison. What? Hao Tian's eyes turned cold. Did you find out who the other party is? Ma Teng lowered his head and said, I've already sent people to investigate, there should be a result soon. Then he added, Your Majesty, I found news about the Long-Armed Divine Ape Clan. In the past, the Long-Armed Divine Ape Clan and the Een-Bora race joined hands to destroy the ancient Heavenly Court. They have been hiding in the ancient Frigid Abyss ever since. Oh, in the ancient Frigid Abyss? Hao Tian was surprised. In the past, after the Long-Armed Divine Ape Clan and the Een-Bora race joined hands to destroy the ancient Heavenly Court, they suddenly disappeared without a trace. No one knew where the Long-Armed Divine Ape Clan went. Yes, in the ancient Frigid Abyss. Ma Teng said with certainty. Moreover, Yuan Kong must have obtained the Bell of Chaos from the ancient Heavenly Emperor. All these years, he must have been hiding in the ancient Frigid Abyss to refine the Bell of Chaos. The Bell of Chaos. This was a supreme treasure second only to the Pangu Axe, the Fortune Jade Disc and the Grand Mist Bead. Lu Yiping's Chaos Bell technique came from the Bell of Chaos. If the Chaos Bell technique could be used in conjunction with the Bell of Chaos, its power would be unparalleled and terrifying. The Bell of Chaos. Hao Tian's eyes burned with desire. Yes, the Bell of Chaos. Ma Teng smiled respectfully and said, Your Majesty, when you fully comprehend the Grand Tao of Destiny and obtain the Bell of Chaos, you will definitely sweep through the myriad worlds. At that time even the saints won't be your match. Hao Tian smiled and muttered, However, Yuan Kong of the Long-Armed Divine Ape Clan has been a saint for many years and is extremely powerful. Moreover, there are many saints in the Long-Armed Divine Ape Clan. It won't be easy to take the Bell of Chaos from him. The ancient Heavenly Court's strength was unquestionable. The Long-Armed Divine Ape Clan and the Een-Bora race were able to break through the ancient Heavenly Court's defenses. Hao Tian thought for a moment and said, Prepare well. After the Feast of Peaches, we will enter the ancient Frigid Abyss. Although the Long-Armed Divine Ape Clan was very strong, the Immortal World's Heavenly Court was still able to suppress the Long-Armed Divine Ape Clan. Remember, the Bell of Chaos must not be leaked. Hao Tian said to Ma Teng. Yes, Your Majesty. Ma Teng hurriedly replied. After Lu Yiping and the Dragon Horn Golden Bull destroyed the Yama's prison and rescued Niu Gang's eldest disciple, Niu Yushu, on their way back to the Demon Bull Mountain. Along the way they passed by a few cities and all the disciples were talking about the Feast of Peaches. The Feast of Peaches was a grand event in the immortal world. Anyone who was invited by the Heavenly Queen Mother would be honored by their family and sect. I heard that the Heavenly Queen Mother crossed out His Majesty Hao Tian's name. She didn't invite His Majesty Hao Tian. Is the Heavenly Queen Mother really that beautiful? Everyone discussed. The Feast of Peaches. Lu Yiping read aloud. Niu Yi, who was following beside Lu Yiping, smiled and said, The Heavenly Queen Mother also invited me to the Feast of Peaches. Your Majesty, why don't you join me? Chapter 4:15. Participate in the Feast of Peaches? Lu Yiping hesitated. Taurus Longjiao chuckled, It's good to participate in the Feast of Peaches. The Queen Mother's peaches are the best in the immortal world, the taste is very nostalgic. He then turned to Lu Yiping, Master, you haven't seen the Queen Mother for so many years. Since you're back in the immortal world, why don't you go see her? Lu Yiping remained silent. Lu Yiping had mixed feelings about the Queen Mother. A moment later Lu Yiping said to Niu Yi, All right, I'll go with you. Niu Yi smiled happily, Great. He then asked, Does Lord know the Queen Mother? Lu Yiping nodded. Since Niu Yi would know about it during the Feast of Peaches, there was nothing to hide. Niu Yi hesitated for a moment and said, My lord, I'm afraid the Heavenly Court will not let the matter of Yu Liang go. Since you know the Queen Mother, why don't you ask her to plead with His Majesty Hao Tian? Taurus Longjiao chuckled, Plead with clear heaven? That guy should be the one pleading with Master. Niu Yi was stunned. Taurus Longjiao smiled, Don't worry, Uncle Yi. Nothing will happen. Master is here. Niu Yi opened his mouth wanting to remind Lu Yiping, but he swallowed his words. However, hearing Taurus Longjiao's confidence in Lu Yiping, Niu Yi couldn't help guessing Lu Yiping's current strength. Could it be that Lord Lu Yiping had already entered the Saint Realm? Along the way, Nioi couldn't help but ask curiously, "Lord, could it be that you've already entered the Saint Realm?" Niu Gang, who was traveling with them, looked at Lu Yiping in shock. Lu Yiping nodded. "It's been several million years since I entered the Saint Realm." Hearing this, Niu and Niu Gang's faces lit up with ecstasy. "So you've already proven your way and become a saint," Niu said excitedly. "No wonder Xiao Jin is so confident in you." It had been millions of years since he had proven his Tao and entered the Saint Plane. In that case, Lord Lu's auspicious cloud should be 1 or 2 mu of land. Knowing that Lu Yiping had already been a saint for millions of years, Niu and Niu Gang, who had been feeling uneasy, felt a lot more at ease. Since Lu Yiping had already been a saint for millions of years, then even if he could not contend against the saints of the heavenly court, he could at least protect himself. As the date of the Feast of Peaches was not far away, Niu and Niu Gang made preparations as soon as they returned to the demonic Bull Mountain. Since Niu was heading to the Feast of Peaches, he naturally had to prepare a gift. However, Niu didn't know what to prepare. Over the years, the Demon Bull Mountain had been suppressed by the Silver Wolf clan, so they didn't have a luxurious life. When Taurus Longjiao found out that Niu was having a hard time preparing a gift, he couldn't help but smile. "Uncle Yi, you don't have to prepare a gift. I'll do it." He then took out a spatial artifact and handed it over to Niu. Niu opened the spatial artifact and saw a mountain of chaos spirit stones piled up inside. He couldn't see the end of it, and he had no idea how many other heavenly treasures there were. Niu's eyes widened. Taurus Longjiao smiled. "These are the treasures I obtained after destroying the Fiend God Palace with my master. My master and I have no use for these things. Uncle E, you can distribute the immortal artifacts and armors to the younger members of the Demon Bull clan. In the future, let our Demon Bull clan's brothers eat and drink well. Of course, let them sleep well." Niu was extremely touched, but when he heard Taurus Longjiao's last sentence, he couldn't help but laugh. He punched Taurus Longjiao lightly and said, "You brat, you didn't let your Uncle E dote on you in the past in vain? Alright then, Uncle E will accept these things. I'll thank you on behalf of those brats." Taurus Longjiao smiled. "I still have some purplish gold chaos water here. Uncle E, take it and cultivate. Don't worry about running out of purplish gold chaos water. When you run out, there'll be more." He then took out another spatial artifact and handed it to Niu. Niu thought that Taurus Longjiao didn't have enough purplish gold chaos water, so he didn't put it to heart. But when he opened the spatial artifact, an astonishing amount of chaos chi rushed out like a sea of chaos, almost suffocating him. Niu calmed down and looked at the spatial artifact in shock. Inside the spatial artifact, buckets of purplish gold chaos water were arranged in an orderly manner on the ground. Niu jumped in fright. "Xiaojin, where did you get so much purplish gold chaos water?" Purplish gold chaos water was rare even in the world of immortals. This was his first time seeing so much purplish gold chaos water. Taurus Longjiao smiled. "Don't worry, Uncle E. I didn't steal this purplish gold chaos water. Master has a treasure that can produce an endless supply of purplish gold chaos water. It can produce 1 bucket a day. Master has more than 1,000,000 buckets in his possession over the years. More than 1,000,000 buckets." Niu's heart trembled. How much was that? That's why Master has an endless supply of purplish gold chaos water. Taurus Longjiao smiled. "And neither Master nor I use purplish gold chaos water to cultivate. That's why we have no use for it. You can drink it like water in the future." Niu stared blankly at the countless buckets of purplish gold chaos water. Drink it like water? While Niu stared blankly at the purplish gold chaos water, Lu Yiping sat cross-legged under the foundation tree, circulating the secret art of longevity to devour the foundation tree's primordial chi. Now, he had fully comprehended the 1700 great Daos in the 8 pieces of the Fortune Jade Disc. Even the immortal Skywood technique had reached the 12th level. Only the secret art of longevity was close to reaching the 49th level. That was why his main focus now was on the secret art of longevity. Of course, as he circulated the secret art of longevity to devour the primordial chi, the saint energy in his body grew day by day. However, just like how the ancient gods cultivated their totems, the further they progressed, the harder it was to condense the totems. It was the same for the saint realm. The further one progressed, the harder it was for the saint energy to grow. Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud was now 17 mu. It would take at least 200 to 300 years to break through to 18 mu. Several days passed. Lu Yiping stopped cultivating and set off for the Kunlun Divine Mountain with Taurus Longjiao, Niu Gang and the others. The immortal realm was vast and boundless. There were 5 main continents. The demonic bull mountain was in the Aparagodania continent while the Kunlun divine mountain was in the central continent. The distance was quite far, so Lu Yiping and the others had to travel a few days in advance. Since the Feast of Peaches could only bring a maximum of 4 people with them, Lu Yiping did not bring many people with him. There were only 5 of them. Originally, Lu Yiping and the others were on the demonic bull clan's spaceship. However, Lu Yiping felt that the demonic bull clan spaceship was too slow, so he took out the Ingio clan spaceship. Lu Yiping had found it on Yin Yiping's body after he killed Yin Yiping. Naturally, Yin Yiping's spaceship was far superior to the demonic bull clans. Niu Yi and Niu Gang stood at the bow of the spaceship, looking at the mountains behind them in awe. The spaceship did not stop. After exiting the Aparagodania continent, they soon entered the central continent. The Kunlun divine mountain was finally in sight. Chapter 416. When Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and the others arrived at the Kunlun divine mountain, there was already a sea of people. Spaceships were shuttling back and forth and there were all kinds of mounts. It was Niu Gang's first time attending the Feast of Peaches. Seeing the sea of people in front of him, he was shocked. It was his first time seeing so many experts from different sects and clans. He was a late-stage immortal emperor and was considered one of the top experts in the Lingxiao continent. However, when he arrived, he realized that almost all the people here were immortal emperors, and many of them were stronger than him. Isn't there too many people here? Niu Gang couldn't help but ask. Niu Yi smiled. All the sects and clans with celestial lords in the immortal world were invited by the Heavenly Queen Mother. It's normal that there are so many people here. There should be more in a few days. There were only a few days left before the Feast of Peaches. When the Feast of Peaches really arrived, there would definitely be more experts from different continents in the immortal world. However, not all of them were invited by the Heavenly Queen Mother. Some of them are just here to join in the fun, Niu Yi said. There are so many experts gathered at the Kunlun Divine Mountain. Some of them are here to see if they have the chance to meet some experts and try their luck. Niu Gang looked at the Kunlun Divine Mountain in the distance and sighed. The Heavenly Queen Mother is not only beautiful, but also a saint. She is also the leader of the female immortals in the immortal world. I wonder who would be lucky enough to marry her. Niu Yi scolded, watch your words. The Heavenly Queen Mother is not something you can talk about. Taurus Longjiao, however, winked at Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping ignored Taurus Longjiao's flirting and drove the spaceship towards the city in front. Under the Kunlun Divine Mountain there was a huge city called Kunlun City. It was one of the biggest and oldest cities in the immortal world. Since the Feast of Peaches had not arrived yet, the experts from all over the immortal world had entered Kunlun City. When some of the experts from the various clans and sects saw Lu Yiping's spaceship, they took the initiative to make way for him. Lu Yiping's flying ship came from the Yin Valley and was a saint artifact. Sensing the saint aura of Lu Yiping's flying ship, these experts took the initiative to avoid it. Which sage's flying ship is this? I don't remember there being any sage's flying ship in the immortal world that looks like this, a sect master said in surprise as he looked at Lu Yiping's flying ship. Who is that blue-robed young man? No, I don't. He should be a disciple or descendant of a saint. Everyone discussed in low voices. In the immortal world, almost every continent had celestial venerables. There was no lack of celestial venerables, but there were very few saint realm experts and even fewer Tao-proving sages. Therefore, as long as a saint flying ship arrived, it would inevitably cause a heated discussion among the experts. In the crowd, a young man looked at Lu Yiping's back with envy and said, I wonder when I can become a disciple of a saint. Many people had rushed over to the Kunlun God Mountain to see if they could catch the eye of a saint and be taken in as a disciple. If they could be taken in as a disciple of a saint, even if it was just an in-name disciple, it would be a meteoric rise. Let's just forget about it. His companion shook his head and chuckled. Even though our talents are decent, we're still far from the requirements of a saint. If we could be taken in as a disciple by a saint realm expert, we'd be having a fever in front of Buddha. In the midst of the discussions, Lu Yiping's flying ship arrived before Kunlun City and came to a stop. The few of them got off the flying ship and kept it before entering Kunlun City. After entering Kunlun City, it was even more crowded. The streets that could normally fit 10-horse carriages were now extremely crowded. As for the restaurants and shops on both sides of the streets, they were even more crowded. Let's find a place to stay first. With so many people here, I'm afraid the restaurants would be full. Niu Yi said. However, Taurus Longjiao smiled and said, "You don't have to worry about a place to stay. Master has a mansion here. Even though it's not big, it's enough for the few of us to stay." Relying on his memory, Lu Yiping brought Niu Yi and the others to the mansion that he had purchased back then. Even though Lu Yiping had yet to attain his Dao back then, he was still quite wealthy. Therefore, the mansion that he had purchased was located in the central area of Kunlun City. It was extremely prosperous with many shops around it. However, when Lu Yiping arrived at the mansion, he frowned. He had not been here for millions of years. There was a row of shops built beside the walls of his mansion. Not only were these shops leaning against the walls of his mansion, they were even at the same height as the walls of his mansion. From afar, the entrance of his mansion seemed to be concave. Even Taurus Longjiao frowned when he saw it. "Go and ask what's going on," Lu Yiping said in a deep voice. Then he led Taurus Longjiao and the others to one of the shops. The business of the shop was quite good. The hall was quite lively. When Lu Yiping and the others entered, no one greeted Lu Yiping and the others. Lu Yiping went straight to the counter in the hall. Behind the counter, Taurus Longjiao asked, "Who allowed you to build these shops?" The person in charge of the counter was stunned. For a moment he did not understand what Taurus Longjiao meant. Taurus Longjiao continued, "I mean, who allowed you to build these shops beside the walls of the mansion?" The person in charge of the counter understood what Taurus Longjiao meant. He looked at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao and the others and smiled, "We don't seem to have to tell you who allowed us to build these shops." Then he added, "These shops belong to the Sacred Confucian Chamber of Commerce." The Sacred Confucian Chamber of Commerce. Niu Yi and Niu Gang were shocked. No wonder Niu Yi and Niu Gang were shocked. The Sacred Confucian Chamber of Commerce belonged to the Zhu clan. Taurus Longjiao heard that these shops belonged to the Sacred Confucian Chamber of Commerce and smiled. So they belonged to the Zhu clan? He and Lu Yiping were no strangers to the Zhu clan. The Golden Lightning Saint Zhu Ling who died in Lu Yiping's hands was a saint of the Zhu clan. In the immortal world, no matter which force it was, as long as it had a saint overseeing it, it would be a super giant in the immortal world. However, the Zhu family had 3 Dao-confirming sages, a family with 3 saints. The only forces that could be on par with the Zhu family in the immortal world were the Meng family, the Wu tribe, and the Kunlun Divine Mountain. Of course, with Zhu Ling's death, the Zhu clan only had 2 saints left. Even so, the Zhu clan was still a super giant in the immortal world. The Sacred Confucian Chamber of Commerce was spread all over the immortal world. Yes, these shops belong to the Zhu clan. We are all disciples of the Zhu clan. The person in charge of the counter raised his head and said, "Is there anything else? If there's nothing else, you may leave." "What if we don't leave?" Taurus Longjiao asked. The person in charge of the counter sneered, "Don't leave? Are you trying to be unreasonable?" Then he said to the Zhu clan guards in the hall, "Break their legs and throw them out." The Zhu clan guards surrounded them, but as soon as they got close to Lu Yiping's group, they were all sent flying. Chapter 417. The person in charge of the counter was stunned when he saw the guards flying out of the shop. He looked at Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and was about to say something when Taurus Longjiao suddenly slapped the person in charge. Before the person in charge could react, he was sent flying by Taurus Longjiao. With a loud bang, the person in charge crashed through the shop's wall and fell to the ground. His body was covered in blood and he fainted. The shop's lobby was a mess. Some of the experts who had been doing business in the hall retreated out of the shop in fright. Lu Yiping said to Taurus Longjiao, "Raise these shops to the ground for me." Taurus Longjiao chuckled, "Yes, master. Watch me." He was the best at this kind of work. Immediately he punched out. In an instant, fist waves rolled out and swept away one shop after another. There were dozens of shops and each of them was protected by the Zhu family's experts. But now they were all destroyed by Taurus Longjiao's fist waves. The various experts who were doing business in the shops fled for their lives. When they came out, they were shocked to see the shops that had been destroyed and turned into dust. Everyone looked at Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao and the others. Which family are these people from? How dare they destroy the Zhu family's shops? The Zhu family must have sent Dao-proving sages to participate in this feast of peaches. Now that their shops are destroyed, there will be a good show to watch. Everyone discussed. The Zhu family's disciples who ran out rushed up in anger, but they were all sent flying by Taurus Longjiao. Lu Yiping opened the mansion's restriction and led Taurus Longjiao and the others into the mansion. At this time, in a luxurious mansion in Kunlun City, Zhu Heng looked at his subordinate Zhang Guang and said, "Miss Ming Qiantong refused to accept the things I asked you to send to her?" Meng Qiantong had come with the Meng family's experts to the Feast of Peaches. She was in Kunlun City now. Zhu Heng knew that Meng Qiantong was coming, so he sent his servant, Zhang Guang, to deliver the gifts. He wanted to invite Meng Qiantong to come out and talk about the Guqin, but Meng Qiantong returned everything. "Yes, young master," Zhang Guang replied. Then he hesitated and said, "Miss Meng Qiantong also said that you shouldn't send anything to her anymore." Zhu Heng frowned. At this time, one of the Zhu family's experts hurried in, stopping in front of Zhu Heng and reporting, "Young lord, news just came from Shuangming Street, saying that several dozen shops there were destroyed." "What?" Zhu Heng and Zhang Guang were both stunned. "What happened?" Zhu Heng's face darkened as he asked. "The people from the uninhabited mansion on Shuangming Street have returned," the Zhu clan expert hurriedly said. Zhu Heng was stunned and asked in a deep voice, "Have you found out the identity of the other party?" The mansion on Shuangming Street had been empty for millions of years. Why would he show up at the Feast of Peaches? Was it a coincidence? Or was he also here to attend the Feast of Peaches? "I have sent someone to investigate," the Zhu clan expert replied, "but there is no result yet." The immortal world was vast, and although the Zhu family was powerful, it would take a long time to investigate a few people. Zhu Heng thought for a moment and said, "Is Uncle Zhu Jingshan still in Kunlun City?" Zhu Jingshan was the Zhu family's expert in Kunlun City. He was a Saint Realm expert and had been in the Saint Realm for nearly 20 million years. "Lord Zhu Jingshan is still in Kunlun City," Zhang Guang said, "but young master, the Feast of Peaches is in a few days, and the Confucian saint will come in person. Why don't we wait for him to come and let him decide?" Zhu Heng said, "Are you afraid that Uncle Zhu Jingshan can't deal with the other party?" Zhang Guang explained, "I think that the Feast of Peaches is just around the corner, and we shouldn't make a big deal out of it." Zhu Heng's eyes flashed and he finally nodded. "All right, then we will wait for grandfather to come and deal with it." A few days passed in the blink of an eye. More and more experts gathered in Kunlun City, and as more and more experts gathered, there were naturally more conflicts between the big families and sections. However, with the Feast of Peaches around the corner, everyone restrained themselves and didn't make a big deal out of it. Nothing much happened in the past few days. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao stayed in the mansion to cultivate. Niu Yi Niu Gang and another old ancestor of the Demon Ox clan went out for a trip. A few days later, the Feast of Peaches arrived. Before dawn, experts from all over Kunlun City rushed to the Kunlun Divine Mountain. From afar, it looked like a swarm of ants had covered the entire Kunlun Divine Mountain, and they were wriggling to the top of the mountain. Lu Yiping and the others also left the mansion early and followed the crowd to the top of the Kunlun Divine Mountain. Just as Lu Yiping and the others were walking to the top of the Kunlun Divine Mountain, they suddenly heard a surprised cry, "Lord Lu!" Lu Yiping turned around and looked in the direction of the voice. A beautiful woman was looking at him with a face full of pleasant surprise. She was none other than Chen Yitao, whom he had saved earlier. Other than Chen Yitao, there was also Chen Zifeng. Both of them were following behind an old man. From the looks of it, this old man should be the #1 expert of Yaya mainland, Chen Wanli. Chen Yitao and the others stopped in front of Lu Yiping. Chen Yitao and Chen Zifeng were pleasantly surprised as they respectfully saluted Lu Yiping. Chen Yitao turned to Chen Wanli and said, "Father, this is Lord Lu and Lord Xiaojin that we told you about earlier." Chen Wanli quickly bowed to Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao to express his gratitude. Lu Yiping, Chen Yitao, Chen Wanli, and the others exchanged some pleasantries before walking together. A short while later, the group arrived at the top of the Kunlun Divine Mountain. There was another space at the top of the Kunlun Divine Mountain. It was extremely spacious, and at the center of the mountain peak was a large pool. Inside the pool, a jade spring flowed and shrouded in mist, creating a pleasing sight to the eyes. Around the large pool were palaces made of jade. Carved on the stone pillars were various kinds of divine beasts and strange drawings. Many experts who came to the Kunlun Divine Mountain were drinking and chatting by the pool. Since the grand banquet had yet to begin, the Queen Mother had yet to come out. Just as Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, Chen Wanli, and the others arrived at the top of the mountain, there was a sudden commotion. "It's Lord Confucian Sage. Zhu family's Lord Confucian Sage is here." Everyone looked over and saw a middle-aged man dressed in a green robe walking over, escorted by more than a dozen Zhu family experts. This middle-aged man was one of the Zhu family's 3 sages, the Confucian Sage. He was also the leader of the Zhu family's 3 sages and one of the immortal world's top 10 experts. His strength was far above the golden lightning sage Zhu Ling. One of the experts following behind the Confucian sage suddenly stepped forward and said to Zhu Heng. Zhu Heng was stunned for a second, then he looked over in Lu Yiping's direction with a cold glint in his eyes. Noticing Zhu Heng's strange expression, the Confucian sage stopped and followed Zhu Heng's gaze to Lu Yiping's direction. When he saw Lu Yiping, the Confucian sage was stunned for a second, then he walked over to Lu Yiping. All the experts present were surprised and turned to look at Lu Yiping. Judging from Lord Confucian sage's reaction, he seems to know this blue-robed young man? Zhu Heng was also puzzled. Chapter 418. Just as the Confucian sage was walking towards Lu Yiping, inside the Queen Mother's palace, the maid Xiaohong ran up to her excitedly. "Queen Mother, he's here, he's here." The Queen Mother was confused when she saw her maid Xiaohong running up to her and telling her that he's here, he's here. Why is he here? Who's here? The maid Xiaohong rushed in and gasped for breath. "It's Master Lu is outside." What? The Queen Mother's body trembled as she looked at her maid Xiaohong in disbelief. Her beautiful face was overjoyed. "You mean Master Lu? Master Lu is here. He's here to participate in this year's Saturn Peach banquet?" The maid Xiaohong nodded and smiled. "Yes, Queen Mother, it's Master Lu. I saw it clearly just now, it's Master Lu. He's here with Xiao Jin." When the Queen Mother heard this, she immediately rushed out of her bedroom like a whirlwind. When the maid Xiaohong saw the Queen Mother rushing out like a whirlwind, she opened her mouth and wanted to say, "Queen Mother, you are still wearing your sleeping robe." However, before she could say anything, the Queen Mother had already disappeared. The maid Xiaohong couldn't help but rush out anxiously. Outside, the Confucian sage stood in front of Lu Yiping. He looked at Lu Yiping and his eyes gradually changed. "The Heavenly Saint." "What, the Heavenly Saint?" The Confucian sage's words were like a stone that stirred up thousands of waves. Countless experts present were in an uproar. Everyone looked at Lu Yiping with shock and awe. "He's the Heavenly Saint?" The Golden Lightning Saint Yin Valley and Dark Hell Ghost Beast were defeated by him. "I heard that he killed the Golden Lightning Saint." The crowd was in an uproar. Chen Yitao, Chen Zifeng, Chen Wanli, and the others who were standing beside Lu Yiping were even more shocked. The Heavenly Saint. The person who was chatting with them was actually the Heavenly Saint. Chen Yitao's little heart was beating wildly. Zhu Heng, who was following behind the Confucian sage, was also shocked. He felt his hands and feet go cold. At the same time, he was glad that he did not act impulsively because of the shop. Impulse is the devil. Fortunately. While everyone was looking at Lu Yiping in awe, a whirlwind rushed out from the inner hall of the Queen Mother's palace. Everyone caught a whiff of an intoxicating fragrance. When the whirlwind stopped, everyone looked over and saw that there was an extremely charming and incomparably beautiful woman in front of them. "Queen Mother." An expert standing not far away from the Queen Mother stuttered. The moment he opened his mouth, he suddenly felt like he was about to drool. This was because he realized that the dignified and incomparably beautiful Queen Mother was actually wearing a nightgown. Good heavens! The nightgown had a slit in the front. Although it couldn't be seen, it was enough to make one's blood boil. Everyone's gaze shifted from Lu Yiping to the Queen Mother. Everyone's blood was boiling. After the Queen Mother came out, her beautiful eyes were fixed on the light blue figure in the crowd. Perhaps she was excited, her delicate body trembled, and her beautiful eyes were filled with joy. "Little Lu, you're finally here." Her voice was extremely pleasant to the ears. Hearing it made one's heart pound as if they were about to fall in love. No matter how much they listened to it, they still wanted to listen to it. When the Queen Mother came out, she stared at Lu Yiping, then called out to little Lu with a shy expression. Some of the people who were drinking spat out the wine in their mouths. In an instant it was as if it was raining wine. Some of the patriarchs and sect chiefs were sprayed with wine. Niu Yi and Niu Gang's eyes widened as they looked at Lu Yiping, then at the Queen Mother. Chen Yitao's cherry lips were wide open. So, Big Brother Xiao Jin's words were true. The Queen Mother really liked Lord Lu. Seeing the Queen Mother come out, Lu Yiping smiled and said, "Big Sister Wang." Some of the experts who just spat out the wine in their mouths spat out the remaining wine in their mouths. Pooh! Loud noises filled the air. Queen Mother? Big Sister Wang? If it weren't for Lu Yiping's identity as the Heavenly Saint, everyone's gaze would have been sharp enough to kill Lu Yiping. Niu Yi and Niu Gang choked on their wine. At this moment, the Confucian sage standing in front of Lu Yiping suddenly punched at Lu Yiping with the auspicious cloud above his head. As one of the immortal world's top 10 experts, The Confucian sage's auspicious cloud had reached 16 mu. As the Confucian sage punched out, holy energy rushed out from the auspicious cloud. In an instant the sky changed color. Not only the Queen Mother's palace, but even the Kunlun God Mountain shook. Everyone's expression changed. No one had expected that the Confucian sage would suddenly attack Lu Yiping. The Queen Mother was enraged seeing the Confucian sage attacking in her palace, especially at her small path. She shouted, "Zhu, you dare!" Zhu was the Confucian sage's real name, but it had the same pronunciation as midget. Therefore it was a taboo for the Confucian sage. No one dared to call him by his real name. Just as the Queen Mother was about to attack, Lu Yiping's body suddenly emitted a bright light. The auspicious cloud above his head bloomed, and the auspicious light was so bright that it was hard for everyone to open their eyes. Everyone was shocked when they saw the auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head. Even the Confucian sage was shocked. 17 mu. Didn't they say Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud was only 10 mu? How could it be 17 mu? Several hundred years ago, Lu Yiping and Zhu Ling fought in the Yin Valley, and the Black Hell Ghost Valley, and the auspicious cloud was only 10 mu. Therefore, the Confucian sage naively thought that Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud was still 10 mu. Not only the Confucian sage but even the Queen Mother was stunned. 17 mu of auspicious cloud. Hao Yin's auspicious cloud was only 17 mu, right? Lu Yiping punched out, facing the Confucian sage's fist. Boom. The two collided. Heaven and earth shook violently. Everyone felt their bodies tremble. A terrifying force swept out, and countless sect experts were affected by the force of the two. They were all sent flying and there were screams of pain. The Queen Mother's palace trembled and was about to collapse. Fortunately, the Queen Mother activated the Kunlun Divine Mountains array in time, and the palace did not collapse. The Confucian sage was also sent flying out of the Kunlun Divine Mountain and crashed into the mountain peak opposite it. With a loud bang, the mountain peak's rubble rolled down, and a cloud of dust rose. Everyone was shocked. The Confucian sage was one of the top 10 experts in the celestial world, but he was sent flying by Lu Yiping with a single punch. Lu Yiping took a step forward and arrived in front of the opposite mountain peak. At this moment, the Confucian sage, who was blasted into the mountain peak, suddenly flew out of the mountain peak. With a roar, he suddenly threw another punch at Lu Yiping. The great Dao Qi wrapped around his body and great Daos flew out one after another. There were a total of 42 great Daos. Among the 42 great Daos, one of them shot into the sky, and the other great Dao's light completely paled in comparison. Karma Great Dao? Everyone was shocked. The Karma Great Dao was ranked 6th among the strongest Great Dao, ranked higher than the Reincarnation Great Dao and the Destruction Great Dao. Chapter 419. The Confucian sage urged the 42 Grand Daos and the Karmic Dao to attack Lu Yiping. At the same time, he roared, "Lu Yiping, I know you have 3 Supreme Grand Daos, but you only have a little over 20 Grand Daos. I have 42 Grand Daos now, and all of them are ranked in the top 100. I don't believe your 3 Supreme Grand Daos can block my 42 Grand Daos." The Confucian sage's eyes were sharp. Indifferent to the Confucian sage's words, Lu Yiping smiled. Grand Daos flew out one after another and soon there were 20 Grand Daos. Then 21, 22, 23. In the blink of an eye there were 42 Grand Daos. 42 Grand Daos. This Lu Yiping actually comprehended 42 Grand Daos. He has only been a true saint for a few million years. Seeing that Lu Yiping actually had 42 Grand Daos, the experts present were shocked. One had to know that the Confucian sage was the immortal world's oldest existence. He had been a true saint for more than 100 million years, and he had only comprehended 42 Grand Daos when he was in the primordial heavenly court. However, Lu Yiping had only been a true saint for a few million years, yet he had also comprehended 42 Grand Daos. Not only were the various sect and patriarchs shocked, but even the Confucian sage and Empress Dowager were shocked. The Empress Dowager's beautiful eyes were filled with joy, the kind of joy one would feel after seeing their little lover grow up. When she had first met Lu Yiping, she was already a true saint, while Lu Yiping had not even entered the true saint realm. Therefore, her master had objected to their relationship. Now, Lu Yiping had finally become a true saint, and he had comprehended 42 Grand Daos. Moreover, it was 17 mu of auspicious clouds. Her master wouldn't object to their relationship anymore, right? While everyone was still in shock over Lu Yiping's 42 Grand Daos, Lu Yiping's body suddenly emitted a bright light, and another grand Tao flew out. 43. The Confucian sage's eyes widened. The Empress Dowager's beautiful eyes also widened. Then 44 grand Taos appeared. 45, 46 grand Taos. Soon the number of grand Taos reached 50, 60, even 70. When Lu Yiping had 70 great Taos in an instant, the Confucian sage's expression changed. Lu Yiping suddenly punched out, and 70 great Tao surged out with a roar along with the power of his fist. It was as if the world could not withstand Lu Yiping's punch. It trembled, whimpered, and wept. A strange howling sound echoed in the air. Boom. Lu Yiping's fist power directly penetrated the Confucian saint's fist power and landed on the Confucian saint's chest with unstoppable force. The armor on the Confucian saint's chest exploded, and the fist force blasted into the flesh of his chest. When the Confucian sage was sent flying, everyone could clearly see a fist-shaped bump protruding from the Confucian sage's back. This was the result of Lu Yiping's punch penetrating his internal organs and penetrating his back. The Confucian saint once again blasted into the opposite divine mountain. Just now he had only smashed into the surface of the opposite divine mountain for tens of meters, but this time the Confucian saint blasted through tens of thousands of miles of the opposite divine mountain, causing it to collapse. Although this divine mountain was not as solid as the Kunlun divine mountain, it was still a divine mountain from the ancient times and was almost indestructible. But now it collapsed all the way, and the entire divine mountain was completely turned into gravel and powder. Dust flew all over the sky. The rumbling sound was endless. Everyone looked at this scene in shock. The Confucian saint, one of the top 10 powerhouses in the immortal world, was still sent flying by a punch after displaying the power of 42 great Taos. At this moment, Lu Yiping pulled out the Confucian saint buried under the gravel with one hand. Everyone looked over and saw that the Confucian saint's armor was completely shattered, and there was a terrifying hole in his chest. This terrifying hole almost occupied his entire chest, and blood was constantly gushing out of the hole, causing the ground to shake. This was the blood of a Tao-proving sage. A normal drop of it contained enough power to destroy a continent. The Confucian saint was bleeding from all 7 orifices. Zhu Heng and the experts of the Zhu family were pale, their eyes were filled with horror, and their hearts were trembling. If the Confucian saint was defeated, they could imagine what would happen to them. Not to mention them, even the entire Zhu family would be finished. Suddenly, a shocking light burst out from the Confucian saint's body. Under the power of this light, the hole in the Confucian saint's chest began to gradually heal, and the vitality in his body was constantly restored. "It's the light divine bloodline," an old ancestor exclaimed. The light divine bloodline was the strongest bloodline in the ancient times. This bloodline was called immortal, and it was even stronger than the Phoenix bloodline's nirvana power. With this bloodline, no matter how serious the injury was, it could be healed. Some people said that people with the light divine bloodline could recover even if their divine soul was shattered. Seeing that the Confucian saint's injury was about to heal, a great Tao suddenly flew out from Lu Yiping's body. When this great Tao flew out, the surrounding world instantly fell into a prison of death. Under the influence of this great Tao, some of the nearby experts felt that their vitality was about to be devoured. The great Tao of death. Everyone's expression changed. Although the great Tao of death was not one of the top 10 great Taos, it was ranked 12th among the 3,000 great Taos. Its terrifying power made people pale. When the Confucian saint saw Lu Yiping's great Tao of death, he was also shocked. At this moment, Lu Yiping punched the hole in the Confucian saint's chest that was about to heal. Suddenly, the power of death of the great Tao of death roared and madly poured into the Confucian saint's body, frantically destroying the vitality in his body. The Confucian saint's vitality that was constantly recovering was crazily devoured by the power of death of the great Tao of death. In the blink of an eye, the surface of the Confucian saint's body appeared gray. The Confucian saint was horrified to find that his light divine bloodline had completely dimmed. Just when the power of death was about to completely cover the Confucian saint, Lu Yiping suddenly withdrew his hand and stopped. Then Lu Yiping used the power of the great Tao of time and space to seal the Confucian saint's power and threw him into the cauldron of heaven and earth. From the moment the Confucian saint suddenly attacked Lu Yiping to when Lu Yiping blasted the Confucian saint away, sealed him, and put him into the cauldron of heaven and earth, everything happened in a flash. By the time everyone reacted to it, Lu Yiping had already disappeared from where he was. The Queen Mother was just about to speak, but seeing that Lu Yiping had already disappeared, she could not help opening her mouth and stopping there. Everyone present was taken aback. No one expected that after Lu Yiping put the Confucian saint away into the cauldron of heaven and earth, he suddenly disappeared and left again. Only Taurus Longjiao guessed what Lu Yiping was going to do after leaving. The Zhu family had 3 saints, the Saint of Golden Thunder and the Confucian saint were already dealt with. There was only Saint Azure left. Now Lu Yiping was naturally making a trip to the Zhu family's headquarters. Otherwise, once the matter of the heavenly peach pageant spread and Saint Azure escaped, it would be difficult to find him. Sure enough, not long after Lu Yiping left, the news of Lu Yiping destroying the Zhu family's headquarters and punching Saint Azure spread out. In the immortal world's heavenly court, Hao Yin looked at Marshal Ma Teng in surprise. What did you say? Lu Yiping comprehended more than 70 great Dao. Furthermore, Qingyun cultivated to 17 mu like me. Chapter 420. Ma Teng lowered his head and said, yes, during the Immortality Peach Banquet, all the experts present saw it with their own eyes. The Confucian sage couldn't even withstand one move from Lu Yiping. Moreover, the Confucian sage used 42 grand daos, but he still couldn't withstand one punch from Lu Yiping. At that time, Lu Yiping didn't even use Mount Buzhou. Ma Teng's words caused Hao Yin's face to darken. Several hundred years ago, during the Divine World Convention, Lu Yiping fought with Zhu Ling and the others. Auspicious Cloud was only 10 mu, and he had only comprehended 20-odd grand daos. How could he have comprehended 70 grand daos in just a few hundred years? How could he have cultivated Auspicious Cloud to 17 mu in just a few hundred years? Hao Yin was so agitated that he almost roared at the end. According to his original plan, he would wait until he fully comprehended the Grand Tao of Destiny before taking the Bell of Chaos from the long-armed Divine Ape race. At that time he would deal with Lu Yiping. However, he didn't expect Lu Yiping to have cultivated Auspicious Cloud to 17 mu and comprehended 70 grand daos in just a few hundred years. His Auspicious Cloud was only 17 mu. Although he had comprehended more than 90 grand daos, Lu Yiping had comprehended 3 supreme grand daos, while he only had 2. Ma Teng's forehead was drenched in cold sweat as he faced the roaring Hao Yin. Hao Yin was the lord of the immortal world, the ruler of the immortal world. He was above the gods, immortals and Buddhas of the myriad worlds. He had always been confident, calm and unperturbed. He had never lost control and lost his temper like this before. Your Majesty, could it be that Lu Yiping has a treasure on him that can rapidly increase his strength? Ma Teng asked cautiously. Treasure that can rapidly increase one's strength? Hao Yin calmed down and looked at Ma Teng, waiting for him to continue. Ma Teng guessed, I've looked into it. Whether in the divine world or the immortal world, this Lu Yiping has always asked the Chamber of Commerce to help him find Mount Buzhou stone and Jianshu tree block. Hao Tian was startled, his eyes glinting. What do you mean? After the stone of Mount Buzhou was shattered by the witch ancestor, no one in the myriad of worlds could restore its vitality. However, a few hundred years ago, Lu Yiping used Mount Buzhou when he fought with Lord Zhu Ling and the others. Ma Teng said, since Lu Yiping can restore the vitality of Mount Buzhou, he might be able to restore the vitality of Jianshu as well. Jianshu. Hao Tian's eyes were blazing. Ma Teng said, that's right. Legend has it that the fruit of creation has the effect of seizing the good fortune of heaven and earth. Lu Yiping's sudden increase in cultivation over the past few hundred years might have been due to him consuming the fruit of creation. Hearing this, Hao Yin could not calm down. He got up and paced back and forth in the main hall. Where is Lu Yiping now? Hao Tian asked. Lu Yiping has just destroyed the Zhu residence and captured Saint Azure. He has already left the Zhu residence. We haven't found out where he is now. Ma Teng thought for a moment and said, My lord, Lu Yiping has an extraordinary relationship with the Ox Devil clan. The Taurus Longjiao is his mount and has accompanied him for millions of years. The two have a very deep relationship. Why don't we capture the Ox Devil clan and the Taurus Longjiao? Then lure Lu Yiping to our immortal world's heavenly court and borrow the power of the heavenly court's saints and the heavenly circuit immortal formation to kill Lu Yiping. Ma Teng's suggestion moved Hao Tian. Indeed, if he allowed Lu Yiping to continue growing, it would be even more disadvantageous for him. Now, if he borrowed the power of the heavenly court's saints and the heavenly circuit immortal formation, there was still hope to kill Lu Yiping. Now, including him, there were a total of 16 saints in the heavenly court. As long as he lured Lu Yiping to the heavenly court, the 16 saints would attack at the same time. Lu Yiping would definitely not be able to escape. Hao Tian pondered. Your Majesty, Ma Teng said again, If we don't get rid of Lu Yiping, he will definitely become a disaster. However, after some consideration, Hao Tian shook his head. Lu Yiping has the Buzhou Mountain and Jiangjianshu. With our Heavenly Court's current strength, we only have a 50% chance of killing him. If we and Lu Yiping are both injured, the Yin Borer race and the Devil World will definitely take the opportunity to attack the Immortal World. Your Majesty, what do you mean? Ma Ting asked carefully. Hao Tian pondered and said, I have already reached the final stage of comprehending the creation Grand Tao. Within 100 years, I will definitely be able to completely comprehend the creation Grand Tao. At that time we will head to the ancient frigid abyss, seize the bell of primal chaos, hold the convention of the myriad realms and lure Lu Yiping here. We will deal with Lu Yiping at the convention of the myriad realms. After Lu Yiping annihilated the Zhu family, he came to a certain desolate mountain in the immortal world and set up a formation to isolate the surrounding space. Then he threw Confucian Sage and Saint Azure out of the cauldron of heaven and earth. Confucian Sage and Saint Azure looked at Lu Yiping in shock and anger. Lu Yiping, we are Tao-confirming sages and have obtained the recognition of the heavenly Tao. Aren't you afraid of being punished by the heavens for treating Tao-confirming sages like this? Saint Azure rebuked Lu Yiping angrily. Lu Yiping's expression was cold. Heavenly Tao. In the future I will be the heavenly Tao. Confucian Sage and Saint Azure were stunned. Lu Yiping summoned Jiangjianshu. The 400,000-meter-tall Jiangjianshu towered between heaven and earth. Black and yellow qi rolled, and the qi of the great Tao surged on the tree body, dazzling Confucian Sage and Saint Azure. Jiangjianshu. The two looked at the Jiangjianshu in front of them, their faces full of shock and disbelief. Just as the two people's faces were full of shock and disbelief, the Jiangjianshu's tens of millions of tree roots suddenly turned into extremely sharp blades, breaking through Confucian Sage and Saint Azure, two people's defenses, piercing into the two people's chests. The two people startled awake, immediately guessing what Lu Yiping wanted to do, and could not help struggling frantically and roaring repeatedly. However, the two people's strength was the same as the previous Golden Thunder Holy Zhu Ling, already sealed by Lu Yiping, unable to shake the Jiangjianshu at all. Very soon, Confucian Sage and Saint Azure, two people, felt their holy power of great Tao, and sacred physique source power continuously pouring into the Jiangjianshu from the tree roots. After struggling for a while, Confucian Sage knew that he could not escape. Looking at Lu Yiping, his eyes full of hatred, Lu Yiping, I curse you to die a horrible death. All people related to you will all die a horrible death. As Confucian Sage's words faded, a blood-red cloud immediately condensed high up in the sky. This blood-red cloud was the cursed great Tao that Confucian Sage had comprehended. This was the curse that Confucian Sage condensed with the last of his strength. Although the cursed great Tao was not one of the 10 supreme great Taos, it was second only to the 10 supreme great Taos, ranking 13th. Seeing that the cursed blood cloud was about to fall on Lu Yiping, suddenly, light surged around Lu Yiping, and the fire great Tao flew out. The power of the fire great Tao instantly incinerated the other party's cursed blood cloud. Lu Yiping looked at Confucian Sage, whose face was full of hatred. Cursed great Tao, unfortunately, your strength is too weak. Even if you use the cursed great Tao at your peak, you can't curse me. Confucian Sage's face was filled with despair. After a while, Confucian Sage and Saint Azure's holy power of great Tao, and sacred physique source power were all extracted. Between the branches of the Jiangjianshu, 2 golden Tao fruits grew. These 2 Tao fruits were larger than the Tao fruits of Yin Valley Zhu Ling, and the Black Hell Ghost Beast, especially the Tao fruit condensed from Confucian Sage's holy power of great Tao and sacred physique source power. It was the size of 2 fists. Chapter 421. After extracting Confucian Saint and Saint Azure's Saint power of the Great Path, and power of the Saint Physique, Lu Yiping burned Confucian Saint and Saint Azure clean with a flame of the Great Path. Then he sat down cross-legged and began to swallow the fruit of Tao to cultivate. The auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head circulated with auspicious light. He swallowed Saint Azure's fruit of Tao first. Immediately, Saint Qi surged, and the auspicious cloud above his head began to slowly expand. The auspicious cloud that was originally 17 acres began to approach 18 acres. Although Saint Azure's strength was not comparable to Confucian Saint, it was still much stronger than Yin Valley back then. Therefore, the fruit of Tao born by his Saint power of the Great Path, and power of the Saint Physique's origin was much better than Yin Valley's. After refining Saint Azure's fruit of Tao, Lu Yiping then refined Confucian Saint's fruit of Tao. After completely refining the two fruit of Tao, Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud finally broke through to 18 acres. However, there was still a gap from 19 acres. Lu Yiping felt the saint power in his body that had become much more vigorous. He blasted out a punch. Saint power surged, passing through layer after layer of continental space. In the end, it only stopped after crossing thousands of continental spaces. Within thousands of continents, all the powerhouses felt this sudden terrifying power and were so frightened that they all trembled. After Lu Yiping blasted out a punch, he withdrew his saint power. He did not leave this barren mountain. Instead, he sat down cross-legged and continued to cultivate the secret of longevity. Taking advantage of this closed-door cultivation, he decided to cultivate the secret of longevity to the 49th level before leaving. In the blink of an eye, 100 years passed. His longevity incantation had finally reached the peak of the 49th level. When the secret of longevity cultivated to the 49th level, Lu Yiping confirmed that there was still the 50th level of the secret of longevity. As long as he collected more good fortune jade discs, the 50th level of the secret of longevity would appear. After cultivating the secret of longevity to the 49th level, Lu Yiping stopped cultivating and took out the message talisman. When he opened it, it was full of messages from Taurus Longjiao. There were 7 messages. Lu Yiping's gaze fell on the last message. Primordial cold abyss, Lu Yiping muttered. The last message was about the main body of the creator. All these years, Taurus Longjiao had been helping him inquire about the main body of the creation tree. After 100 years, he finally had some clues. According to the information that Taurus Longjiao had found, the main body of the creation tree was now lost in the ancient cold abyss. Taurus Longjiao had already gone to the ancient cold abyss to search. Lu Yiping took a step forward, vanishing on the spot as he sped towards the ancient frigid abyss. The ancient frigid abyss was located at the extreme north of the immortal world. Could be said to be the end of the immortal world. The ancient frigid abyss was extremely cold. It spewed out a type of extreme cold energy all year round. Even immortal emperors wouldn't dare to casually enter the ancient frigid abyss. Just as Lu Yiping was rushing towards the primordial frigid abyss, a bright light flashed above the entrance of the primordial frigid abyss as a giant flying ship appeared. A large group of figures stood on the bow of the flying ship. Each of these figures had astonishing saint chi. They were all powerhouses above the saint rudiment realm. There were a total of 401 people. The leader was the lord of the immortal world, Hao Tian. In the past 100 years, with the help of the heavenly court's resources, Hao Tian had finally completely comprehended the Destiny Great Tao, which was ranked second among the 3,000 Great Taos. After successfully comprehending the Destiny Great Tao, Hao Tian led a group of heavenly court experts to the ancient frigid abyss. He couldn't wait to snatch the Bell of Chaos from Yuan Kong. This time Hao Tian led 400 powerhouses. Including him, there were a total of 16 Tao affirmation saints. The rest were more than 380 Saint Rudiment realm powerhouses. For the Bell of Chaos, the heavenly court's powerhouses were almost all out. Hao Tian looked at the ancient frigid abyss in front of him and said to Ma Teng and the others, "When we enter the ancient frigid abyss, everyone activate the Saint Armor Array on your body to conceal your aura. After obtaining the Bell of Chaos, retreat immediately." "Yes, Your Majesty." Ma Teng and the others responded respectfully. Hao Tian controlled the flying ship and broke through the frigid abyss's billowing cold air. He entered the ancient frigid abyss and soon disappeared into the billowing cold air. This flying ship had a great origin. It was called the Boat of Fortune. It was the flying ship of the ancient heavenly court's ancient heavenly emperor. It was also a supreme treasure. Although it was not as good as the Bell of Chaos, it was not much worse. This time, Hao Tian led all the Tao affirmation saints of the heavenly court and brought all the strongest saint artifacts and supreme treasures. Hao Tian controlled the Boat of Fortune and headed to the deepest level of the ancient frigid abyss. There were a total of 10 levels in the ancient frigid abyss. The lower one went, the colder the cold air and the more shocking the restrictions. The long-armed divine ape clan lived in seclusion on the 9th level. As for the 10th level, there were terrifying chaotic cold air storms everywhere. Even Tao affirmation saints did not dare to stay for long. Legend said that the 10th level led to the endless chaos. Soon Hao Tian controlled the Boat of Fortune to enter the 2nd level. After arriving at the 2nd level, there were more ferocious beasts in the frigid abyss. Although the climate in the ancient frigid abyss was harsh, it was extremely suitable for experts and ferocious beasts who cultivated dark and cold techniques. Therefore there were many ferocious beasts in the ancient frigid abyss. There were also many human experts who lived in seclusion here. Along the way, the experts under Hao Yin's command killed all the ferocious beasts and human clan experts they encountered. However, Hao Yin and the others activated the boundary formation of the Boat of Fortune and did not make any noise. Just as Hao Tian and the others entered the third level, they suddenly felt a shocking fluctuation of saint power in front of them. Then they heard an earth-shattering roar of a bull. Ma Teng, who was beside Hao Tian, opened his heaven's eye. Through the layers of space, he saw a huge golden bull fighting with a group of ferocious beasts. Taurus Longjiao. Ma Teng was surprised. It's Lu Yiping's mount. Oh, Lu Yiping's mount? Hao Tian was stunned. Then he looked over and his eyes turned cold. It really is Lu Yiping's mount. Then he began to search for Lu Yiping's whereabouts. After a while, Hao Tian confirmed that Lu Yiping was not around and signaled to Ma Teng with his eyes. Ma Teng understood and respectfully responded. Then he broke through the air and flew in the direction of Taurus Longjiao. Just a day after Hao Tian and the Heavenly Court experts entered the ancient frigid abyss, Lu Yiping also arrived at the entrance of the ancient frigid abyss. However, when Lu Yiping took out his communication talisman and tried to contact Taurus Longjiao, he did not receive a reply even after a long time. After a while, Lu Yiping tried again, but he still did not receive a reply from Taurus Longjiao. Lu Yiping frowned, then broke through the cold air and entered the ancient frigid abyss. After entering the ancient frigid abyss, Lu Yiping flew, sensing the changes in the trees while trying to contact Taurus Longjiao. However, the messages he sent to Taurus Longjiao were like stones sinking into the sea. There was no reply. Lu Yiping searched all the way from the first level to the second level, and then to the third level. When he arrived at the third level, Lu Yiping passed by the place where Taurus Longjiao fought with the ferocious beasts. His heart sank when he felt the remnant energy of Taurus Longjiao in the air. Chapter 422. Lu Yiping circled the space around Taurus Longjiao's remnant energy for a long time, but he did not find any other clues. It seemed like the other party had handled the matter well. The only thing he could confirm was that something had happened to Taurus Longjiao. Lu Yiping's expression was ugly. He searched for a while more before leaving to continue to the fourth level of the ancient frigid abyss. According to his guess, Taurus Longjiao should still be alive, but was captured by the other party. It was very likely that the other party was still in the ancient frigid abyss. Therefore, as long as he followed the ancient frigid abyss, there was still hope of finding Taurus Longjiao. However, when Lu Yiping reached the seventh level, he still did not find any trace of Taurus Longjiao. Finally, Lu Yiping reached the eighth level. Just as Lu Yiping reached the eighth level, the creation tree in his body shook violently, flickering with light. Ever since Lu Yiping regained the vitality of the creation tree, it had never trembled like this. Lu Yiping was delighted. The main body of the creation tree was indeed in the ancient frigid abyss. Only if the main body of the creation tree was here would the creation tree react so violently. If it was the creation tree, no matter how many pieces there were, the creation tree would not react so violently. Lu Yiping suppressed the excitement in his heart and flew in the direction of the creation tree's reaction. Finally, he arrived in front of an ancient divine mountain. This primordial divine mountain was completely black in color, and it was covered in layers of black ice. These black ice shone with a chilling luster. Under the shocking cold chi of the eighth level of the ancient frigid abyss, the black ice's hardness was comparable to many ancient divine metals. Moreover, it emitted a heart-palpitating black smoke. The cold chi turned into smoke, showing how cold the black ice was. If some immortal emperor experts came into contact with the black ice, they would be instantly frozen by the black ice cold chi. Lu Yiping did not look at the ancient divine mountain. Instead, he looked at the shocking spatial rifts on the top of the mountain. These spatial rifts ranged from a few meters to a few hundred meters. There were tens of thousands of spatial rifts of various sizes, covering the sky above the ancient divine mountain. It was a shocking sight. An astonishing suction force came from these spatial rifts. Even though Lu Yiping was only near the ancient divine mountain, he could feel the terrifying suction force. Lu Yiping estimated that even a Saint Realm expert would find it difficult to escape once they were sucked in. At that time they would drift forever in the chaotic space. The creation's main body was inside one of the spatial rifts. Lu Yiping didn't dare to be careless. The auspicious cloud hovered above his head, and at the same time, he circulated the immortal sky-wood art. Light swirled around Lu Yiping's body as he soared into the air, arriving in front of the spatial tear. Immediately, A horrifying suction force made Lu Yiping's figure unsteady for a while. Even the light flowing around Lu Yiping's body was torn apart by this terrifying suction force. Lu Yiping stabilized his body with great difficulty. Looking around, he saw gray turbulence everywhere. Even with his eyesight as a saint, it was difficult for him to see far. Even his eye of thunder punishment could not see through the layers of space here. Even the power of his soul was greatly suppressed here. There was a supreme power here. Even the power of a saint was weak in the face of this supreme power. If Lu Yiping had not been certain that the creation's main body was in the deepest part of this space, he would have turned around and left when he saw the gray turbulence in front of him. Although saints of Tao validation lived as long as the heavens and were almost immortal, it did not mean that saints of Tao validation were immortal. In the universe there were many powers above saints of Tao validation. Lu Yiping used the creation senses to break through the layers of turbulence and carefully flew forward. As he flew forward, the creation in his body vibrated more and more violently. After flying like this for several hours, Lu Yiping stopped and looked at the scene in front of him in shock. In the void in front of him, there was an unimaginably huge tree standing between heaven and earth. This tree's trunk was as big as a continent. He could not see the bottom of the tree, nor could he see the top of the tree. The giant tree stood between heaven and earth, eternal and indestructible. Lu Yiping had previously imagined the size of the creation's main body, but now that he saw it with his own eyes, he was still shocked. This tree's trunk was as big as a continent. No wonder there were legends of prehistoric races and primordial gods living and reproducing here. While Lu Yiping was shocked, he also could not hide his excitement. If his creation fused with the main body of the creation, then to what extent would his creation grow? Right now, his creation was 400,000 meters. If his creation fused with the main body of the creation, its growth would definitely be more than 10 times. It might even grow to 10 million feet. 100 million feet. Not 10 million feet. If it was 100 million feet, then how many levels would his immortal skyward art have? 100 million feet, what kind of concept was that? Lu Yiping took a deep breath and called out the creation in his body. The creation flew out of his body in joy. Immediately, the creation flew towards the main body of the creation like a wild horse. In the past, when the creation swallowed and fused with the tree chunks, it would suck them all over. But this time, it took the initiative to fly towards the main body of the creation. And when it arrived in front of the main body of the creation, it actually took the initiative to fuse with the main body of the creation. Lu Yiping was stunned. As the creation fused with the main body of the creation, the lifeless main body of the creation suddenly bloomed with rays of light. Moreover, the rays of light grew stronger and stronger. In the beginning, it was only a section of the tree that was emitting light. But soon, the rays of light extended to the main body of the creation at an astonishing speed. It was the top and bottom of the creation. The entire main body of the creation was glowing with vitality. This continued for about an hour. The creation in his body and the main body of the creation had completely fused together. The main body of the creation shone brightly, and the profound yellow aura roiled like a river. Moreover, the profound yellow aura began to transform. Layer by layer, it transformed into a higher grade of gas. Grand Mist Aura. Lu Yiping exclaimed in surprise as he watched the profound yellow aura transform layer by layer. Grand Mist Aura was one of the strongest types of gas at the beginning of the universe. With Grand Mist Aura, he could quickly break through to the True Sage realm and become an existence surpassing the True Sage realm. In the end, all of the profound yellow aura transformed into Grand Mist Aura. The main body of the creation grew thousands of new branches. Between the branches, the veins on the leaves formed pages of the immortal Skyward Arts mental cultivation method. Previously, the creation had only revealed the 12th layer of the immortal Skyward Arts mental cultivation method. Now, the 49 layers of the immortal Skyward Arts mental cultivation method were revealed one by one. Looking at the 30-plus layers of the immortal Skyward Arts mental cultivation method, Lu Yiping's heart was filled with excitement. He was unable to calm down for a long time. Under Lu Yiping's control, the creation that had fused with the main body of the creation flew towards him. Chapter 423. When the Jianshu flew towards Lu Yiping, it was as if a continent was moving. Shockwaves rolled out and the Grand Mist Aura rolled out like a boundless ocean. When the Jianshu arrived in front of Lu Yiping was like an insignificant speck of dust in front of the Jianshu. Lu Yiping looked at the Jianshu and was even more certain that the immemorial heavenly emperor had used the heaven-splitting divine axe or the earth-splitting chisel to chop off the Jianshu. With the Jianshu's current terrifying defense, only the heaven-splitting divine axe or the earth-splitting chisel could cut it. It seemed like the heaven-splitting divine axe or the earth-splitting chisel were in the hands of the immemorial heavenly emperor. However, if the immemorial heavenly emperor had such supreme treasures, why was the immemorial heavenly court invaded by the long-armed divine ape race and the yin-yang voodoo race? Or was there a hidden reason? As Lu Yiping pondered, he shrunk the Jianshu to the size of a palm and landed in his hand. The palm-sized Jianshu in Lu Yiping's hand blossomed with layers of radiance. The grand mist aura was so dense that it couldn't be dissolved. However, Lu Yiping could feel that the Jianshu in front of him wasn't at its peak. After all, it had been chopped off by the heaven-splitting divine axe or the earth-splitting chisel. Even if it had recovered its vitality, there was still a gap between it and its peak. Moreover, there were definitely many pieces in the hands of the yin-yang voodoo race or in other places. Yin-yang voodoo race. Lu Yiping thought of the yin-yang voodoo race and his eyes became indifferent. Now he was waiting for the yin-yang voodoo race's holy lord to appear. The Jianshu seeped into Lu Yiping's palm and entered Lu Yiping's body. After putting the Jianshu back into his body, Lu Yiping went back the way he came. He wasn't in a hurry to cultivate the immortal skywood art. He first looked for the Taurus Longjiao. He had a feeling that the Taurus Longjiao was still in the immemorial cold abyss. However, a few hours later, when Lu Yiping returned to the spatial entrance, he was dumbfounded. The spatial entrance had disappeared. Lu Yiping scanned his surroundings, bewildered. He couldn't have misremembered the spatial entrance's location, but how could it have disappeared? Could it be that this spatial entrance could move on its own? The more Lu Yiping thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. The more he thought about it, the darker his expression became. Spatial entrances that could move were extremely rare, but they did exist. If he couldn't find the spatial entrance, he would be trapped here forever. Although he was a Tao-confirming sage was not omnipotent. With this in mind, Lu Yiping activated his Eye of Thunder Punishment and saw through the layers of space in an attempt to find a way out. But in this space, his Eye of Thunder Punishment was greatly restricted and he couldn't see through the layers of space. In the end, Lu Yiping had no choice but to summon the Jianshu. He urged the Jianshu's millions of roots to pierce into the deepest part of the space, carefully sensing the changes in this space. With the help of the Jianshu's millions of roots, Lu Yiping sensed the subtle changes in this space. A few days later he finally found the spatial entrance. A few days later Lu Yiping came out of the spatial entrance, feeling relieved. After coming out of the space, Lu Yiping continued to fly deeper into the 8th layer. However, he didn't find the Taurus Longjiao until he reached the 10th layer of the immemorial cold abyss. Lu Yiping had no choice but to withdraw from the immemorial cold abyss after his fruitless search on the 10th layer. After exiting the immemorial cold abyss, Lu Yiping thought for a while and came to the largest city nearby. He then asked the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce, the #1 merchant association in the immortal world, to help him find the location of the Taurus Longjiao. After learning that it was Lu Yiping, the president of the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce hurriedly rushed over and personally promised Lu Yiping that he would use all the resources of the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce to help Lu Yiping find the location of the Taurus Longjiao. After that, Lu Yiping cultivated the immortal skywood art while waiting for news from the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce. Not long after, the news circulated out. The overlord of the immortal world, vast heaven, wanted to gather the experts of the myriad realms for the convention of the myriad realms. When this news circulated out, a huge commotion occurred. I heard that many world overlords from the dragon world, divine world, thunder world, radiant world and underworld have led their subordinates and rushed over to the immortal world. The convention of the myriad realms, the experts of the myriad realms will gather in the immortal world. How shocking would that scene be? The last time the convention of the myriad realms was held was 5 million years ago, right? In the countless cities of the immortal world, everyone was discussing the convention of the myriad realms. Although the Immortality Peach Banquet organized by the Queen Mother was also a rare event in the immortal world, it was still much inferior when compared to the convention of the myriad realms. The Immortality Peach Banquet invited experts from all over the immortal world. As for the convention of the myriad realms, it was a gathering of all the experts of the myriad realms. As the news of the convention of the myriad realms spread out, the immortal world started to become more lively. Lu Yiping sat cross-legged under the tree and focused on cultivating the immortal skywood art. He didn't care about what was happening in the outside world. Time flowed by. The date of the convention of the myriad realms gradually approached. Experts from the various realms traversed through the universe and arrived in the immortal world. The immortal world grew more and more lively. When Liu Yiping was focused on cultivating the immortal sky-wood art, the president of the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce reported to him that they found out that the overlord of the immortal world, Vast Heaven, led a group of experts from the heavenly court into the ancient frigid abyss. Oh, Vast Heaven entered the ancient frigid abyss a few days ago? Did you find out why they entered the ancient frigid abyss? Liu Yiping stood up. The president of the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce respectfully replied, "We found out that after Vast Heaven and the others entered the ancient frigid abyss, they fought against the long-armed divine ape race. As for why they fought, we have yet to find out." The long-armed divine ape race is in the ancient frigid abyss? Liu Yiping started. Yes. After the heavenly court was destroyed, the long-armed divine ape race went into seclusion in the 9th level of the ancient frigid abyss. The president of the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce replied. After that, Liu Yiping asked a few more questions regarding the long-armed divine ape race and Vast Heaven. Liu Yiping's eyes flashed. Although he couldn't be sure that Taurus Longjiao's disappearance was related to Vast Heaven, it was too much of a coincidence that Taurus Longjiao went missing on the second day after Vast Heaven entered the ancient frigid abyss. A while later, Liu Yiping soared into the air, leaving the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce as he flew towards the headquarters of the heavenly court. From the president of the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce, he learned that Vast Heaven entered the ancient frigid abyss with all the marshals of the heavenly court following him. Hence, whether Taurus Longjiao's disappearance was related to Vast Heaven or not, he would be able to find out after reading the memories of any of the marshals of the heavenly court. Liu Yiping stared in the direction of the heavenly palace as his eyes turned cold. Vast Heaven, let's hope that Xiao Jin's disappearance has nothing to do with you. Otherwise, after the convention of the myriad realms, the heavenly court of the immortal world would cease to exist. As Liu Yiping continued to fly, the heavenly palace of the immortal world gradually appeared in his vision. Right now it was already noon. The sun shone brightly, illuminating the heavenly palace of the heavenly court. Among the countless palaces in the heavenly court, there were many streets that resembled bridges. This was the heavenly street, and on the two sides of the heavenly street, there were various merchant associations, clans and sections. Usually the heavenly street would be extremely lively. It was the most lively place in the immortal world. Now that the convention of the myriad realms was about to begin, the heavenly street was even more lively. Glancing over, there were experts from the various worlds everywhere. There were experts from the immortal world, dragon world, divine world, thunder world, Buddha world. Liu Yiping landed on the heavenly street. Chapter 424. Liu Yiping landed on the heavenly street and followed the flow of people. Because the convention of the myriad realms was approaching, the number of heavenly soldiers patrolling the heavenly street increased by several times. Just as Liu Yiping followed the flow of people, he suddenly heard the people in front whispering to each other. Someone is fighting in front. It seems like someone from the Heaven Origin sect has offended Ma Shuai's son. Right now he is being slapped by Ma Shuai's son. The people from the Heaven Origin sect are really unlucky, they actually offended Ma Shuai's son. The discussion in front entered Liu Yiping's ears. Liu Yiping's expression sank. The Heaven Origin sect was a sect established by his eldest disciple. However, very few people knew about this. Liu Yiping walked to the front and parted the crowd that was so packed that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Ma Rong was Ma Ting's second son. At this moment, he was letting two of his subordinates grab the arms of a disciple from the Heaven Origin sect. After that, he was slapping that disciple's face. Under Ma Rong's frenzied slaps, that disciple's face was completely deformed. Although Liu Yiping's eldest disciple wasn't weak, he was only at the peak of the late-stage Empyrean realm and had yet to enter the Saint realm. Although the Heaven Origin sect's influence in the immortal world wasn't weak, when compared to Ma Teng, who was the head marshal of the heavenly court, they were much weaker. Hence, when that disciple learned that the person he offended was Ma Rong, he didn't dare to resist. He stood there and allowed Ma Rong to slap him. Just as Ma Rong was about to continue slapping, his hand was suddenly grabbed by someone. Ma Rong wanted to pull his hand out, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't. He couldn't help but turn his head in anger and cursed, "Who the hell is courting death?" When he turned his head, he saw a blue-robed young man holding his hand and looking at him with an indifferent expression. That gaze caused Ma Rong to feel fear in his heart. Ma Rong roared in anger at the guards beside him, "Are you all dead? What are you all in a daze for? Kill this brat for me. Ma Rong's guards regained their senses. However, when Ma Rong's guards rushed to Lu Yiping, all of them were engulfed in golden flames and were swallowed up in the blink of an eye. Ma Rong's group of guards screamed miserably, but in the blink of an eye, they were incinerated cleanly, not even ashes remained. When the surrounding experts saw this, they were all shocked. Among Ma Rong's 40 to 50 guards, almost all of them were immortal emperors. Moreover, there were a few invincible immortal emperors, but they were all incinerated in an instant. Ma Rong was stunned for a moment before his expression changed. Lu Yiping's eyes were cold. He exerted force and crushed Ma Rong's hand. Then he grabbed Ma Rong's neck and asked, "Is Ma Teng in the residence right now?" Ma Rong was both shocked and angry. Even in the face of Lu Yiping's murderous gaze, he did not dare to speak harshly. With a frightened expression, he repeatedly nodded and said that he was at the marshal's residence. Lu Yiping flicked his finger and sent Ma Rong flying. In midair, Ma Rong turned into a bloody mist. Everyone was stunned. This included that disciple from the Heavenly Origin sect. Lu Yiping ignored everyone. He soared through the air and flew towards Ma Teng's martial residence. Ma Teng was a Grand Marshal of the Heavenly Court and was also the head Grand Marshal. Hence, his martial residence was located in the central region of the Heavenly Palace. It occupied a vast area and was incomparably majestic, incomparably dazzling. When Lu Yiping arrived at the martial residence, he saw that Ma Teng's residence was extremely lively. There was an endless stream of people who came to pay their respects. As the head Grand Marshal of the Heavenly Court, Ma Teng was also the right-hand man of vast heaven. Hence, when the experts of the various worlds came to participate in the convention of the myriad realms, almost all of them came to pay their respects to Ma Teng. Leaving aside the fact that Ma Teng was at the peak of the late phase of the Saint Ascension realm, just the fact that Ma Teng was extremely popular with vast heaven, who wouldn't want to curry favor with him? At this moment, Ma Teng was currently in the Great Hall of the Martial Residence, receiving the experts of the various worlds who came to pay their respects. His face was filled with radiance. Lu Yiping stepped out and walked towards the entrance of Ma Teng's martial residence. When he arrived at the entrance of the martial residence, Lu Yiping was stopped by Ma Teng's subordinates. Ma Teng's subordinate asked Lu Yiping if he had an invitation. When Lu Yiping said that he didn't, the expression of Ma Teng's subordinate sank. Just when he was about to ask Lu Yiping to move aside and not block the path of the people behind him, Lu Yiping suddenly punched out. The fist waves gushed forth, directly blasting the entrance of Ma Teng's martial residence away. After that, the fist waves blasted through numerous fake mountains and courtyards, heading straight for the depths of the martial residence. Ma Teng was currently chatting and laughing with the experts of the various worlds who came to pay their respects when he suddenly heard a thunderous boom. The entire martial residence trembled as a series of screams rang out. He couldn't help but stand up in shock. In the Great Hall, the people seated there were all peak characters of the various worlds. When they heard the thunderous boom, all of them had looks of shock on their faces. Just as Ma Teng stood up in shock, Ma Teng and the group of experts in the Great Hall saw a massive fist imprint blasted towards the Great Hall at an alarming speed. Ma Teng didn't have time to think. With a loud roar, he punched out with both fists. Saint energy billowed as he met the incoming fist imprint head-on. But in the blink of an eye, the massive fist imprint shattered his fist imprint and wrapped around Ma Teng at an unbelievable speed. Before Ma Teng could react, he was already sent flying by the fist waves. Lu Yiping's fist imprint wrapped around Ma Teng and blasted through the Great Hall. Then it blasted through layers of palaces and finally Ma Teng's martial residence. Originally, in the inner hall, some people like Ma Teng who tried to block the fist imprint with their hands were also sent flying. Looking down from the sky, one could see that Ma Teng's martial residence was plowed into a large empty path. Some of the experts in the Great Hall who managed to escape the calamity stared blankly at Ma Teng who was sent flying. Amidst the billowing dust, Lu Yiping walked into the martial residence. The Saint of Heaven and Earth. Someone in the crowd recognized Lu Yiping and exclaimed in surprise. As soon as the voice rang out, the faces of the experts who came from the martial residence changed drastically. They hurriedly retreated and some even knelt down. Lu Yiping didn't walk very fast. Passing through the billowing dust, he arrived in front of Ma Teng. At this time, Ma Teng, who had been blasted out of the martial residence, was lying on the heavenly street on the verge of death. With Lu Yiping's current strength, even a saint like the Golden Lightning Saint Zhu Ling wouldn't be able to withstand even an ordinary punch, let alone Ma Teng. Although Ma Teng was the Heavenly Court's chief marshal, he was only a peak late-stage saint. Lu Yiping looked at the dying Ma Teng in front of him and picked him up. He then looked at Ma Teng's memory fragments. Indifferent expressions appeared on Lu Yiping's face after reading Massachusetts Teng's memory fragments. Sure enough, Taurus Longjiao was now in Hao Yan's hands and imprisoned in the Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation. The Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation was located in the depths of the Heavenly Palace and was also the most important prison in the immortal world. Because it was located in the depths of the Heavenly Palace, it was heavily guarded and guarded by countless experts of the Heavenly Court. Therefore, no one had ever been able to rescue anyone from the Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation. After learning that Taurus Longjiao was imprisoned in the Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation, Lu Yiping snorted and flicked his finger. A great path of fire flew out and burned Ma Teng to ashes. Then he stepped into the air and flew toward the Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation. Just as Lu Yiping was flying toward the Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation, Hao Yan, who was in the Heavenly Palace, learned that Ma Teng had been killed by Lu Yiping. Hao Yan's face darkened when he heard that Lu Yiping had killed Ma Teng as soon as he arrived. Lu Yiping, you're courting death. Chapter 425. After returning from the ancient cold abyss, Hao Yan had already completely refined the bell of chaos that he had taken from Yuan Kong. He had been waiting for Lu Yiping for a long time. A moment later, in the main hall of the Heavenly Palace, Hao Yan rose to the sky and flew toward the Thunder Prison of Tribulation. At the same time, the other 15 doctrine sages who had received Hao Yan's order also flew up and headed for the Thunder Prison of Tribulation. When the 15 Tao-confirming saints flew toward the Thunder Prison of 10,000 Tribulation, all the Heaven Court's Saint Realm Marshals led an army of hundreds of millions to seal off all the space around the Thunder Prison of 10,000 Tribulation. Hundreds of millions of Heavenly Army sealed off the Thunder Prison of 10,000 Tribulation. The murderous aura swept across the entire Heaven Palace, startling the powerful warriors from different realms. Some of them who didn't know about Ma Teng asked about what was going on. Why did the Heavenly Court send so many troops to seal off the Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation? Is there anyone who dares to break into the Thunder Tribulation prison? It's the Cosmos Saint. The Heaven and Earth Saint killed Marshal Ma Teng as soon as he arrived. Now go to the Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation. What? Heaven and Earth Saint? When everyone heard this, their expressions changed greatly. Ever since Lu Yiping defeated the Confucian sage in an invincible manner at the Immortal Peach Banquet, some busybodies claimed that Lu Yiping was now the #1 expert in the immortal world. However, even if the Heaven and Earth Saint is the strongest person in the celestial world, he's only one person. No matter how strong he is, he can't go against the entire celestial world's heavenly court. The Saint of Heaven and Earth killed Marshal Ma Teng and broke into the Thunder Prison of 10,000 Tribulation alone. His Majesty Hao Yan won't let him leave. All the experts discussed. In the distance, a vast group of beautiful figures tore through the air and flew over. They were all female immortals, and there were probably 100 million of them. Although the number of female immortals couldn't compare to the hundreds of millions of soldiers of the heavenly court, each of them had an extremely powerful aura that far surpassed the heavenly soldiers and generals. The one leading the female immortals was the extremely beautiful Queen Mother of the West. After the Queen Mother arrived, she instructed the female immortals behind her, "If the Heaven and Earth Saint is no match for him, everyone get ready to fight." The group of female immortals agreed. At this moment, Lu Yiping arrived in front of the Thunder Tribulation prison. The lightning chi in front of him was like a sea, rolling endlessly. The lightning chi stretched as far as the eye could see, and within the lightning chi, lightning danced like dragons. Even before he got close, he could feel the terrifying destructive power contained within. Other than the rolling sea of thunder chi, there was nothing else. This was the Thunder Prison of 10,000 Tribulation. From the outside, there seemed to be no one guarding the Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation, but Lu Yiping knew that there were 100 saints and 100,000 celestial masters in the primal chaos array. These 100 Saint Realm Masters and 100,000 heavenly venerables guarded the primal chaos grand array. Once an enemy invaded, they would activate the primal chaos grand array to kill them all. Lu Yiping looked at the Thunder Prison of Myriad Tribulation in front of him with a cold expression. Without summoning the auspicious cloud, he directly punched out. Instantly, a terrifying power surged out. A fist mark swept up layers of air waves, plowing open a golden path of light that was unknown how many tens of thousands of feet wide, and blasted into the sea of lightning energy before him. There was a loud rumble. The sea of thunder chi was instantly sent flying. Those billions of lightning dragons were all reduced to nothingness by the fist wave. The fist wave continued to move forward, and the sea of lightning energy was constantly sent flying. From a distance, it looked like the fist wave was pushing the entire sea of lightning energy back. The heavenly palace was trembling. Above the heavenly palace, the heavenly street for unknown miles was also shaking. In the depths of the sea of lightning energy, the 100 Saint Realm Masters and 10,000 heavenly venerables in the primal chaos grand array frantically activated it in shock and anger. Layers of primal chaos divine lightning surged out, destroying heaven and earth, and collided with Lu Yiping's fist wave. With a loud bang, heaven and earth trembled, and the layers of primal chaos divine lightning were instantly blasted apart by Lu Yiping's fist wave. Lu Yiping's fist wave did not stop and blasted on the chi wall of the primal chaos grand array. The chi wall of the primal chaos grand array exploded. The fist wave plowed through the layers of restrictions of the primal chaos grand array and swept towards the 100 Saint Realm Masters and 10,000 heavenly venerables in the grand array. The 100 Saint Realm Masters and 10,000 heavenly venerables in the grand array were all sent flying by Lu Yiping's fist wave, and then drowned in the rolling thunder chi. As Lu Yiping's fist wave blasted towards the end of the sky, the boundless sea of lightning energy in front of them was completely destroyed by Lu Yiping's fist wave. A wide entrance appeared on the ground of the sea of lightning energy. That was the entrance to the thunder prison of 10,000 tribulation, where Taurus Longjiao was imprisoned. Just as Lu Yiping's fist wave flattened the sea of lightning energy, a figure broke through the sky and arrived. It was Hao Yin who had arrived first. Hao Yin saw from afar that Lu Yiping had flattened the sea of lightning energy and killed the 100 Saint Realm Masters guarding it. His face turned ashen and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Lu Yiping turned to look at Hao Yin. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out. The other 15 Saint Realm Masters of the Heavenly Court arrived one after another, forming a circle around Lu Yiping with Hao Yin. Then the Saint Realm Masters of the Heavenly Court arrived. There were more than 400 Saint Realm Masters in total. The Heavenly Court's army of hundreds of millions poured in from all directions like the sea, completely drowning the world. As the Heavenly Court's army of hundreds of millions poured in, dense lightning bolts appeared in the sky above the Heavenly Palace. These lightning bolts were terrifyingly powerful, covering the sky and the sun. It was obvious that Hao Yin had activated the Heavenly Palace's grand array. The Heavenly Palace's grand array was not comparable to the thunder prison of 10,000 tribulations grand array. Lu Yiping looked at the lightning bolts in the sky with a calm expression. Hao Yin stared at Lu Yiping, his eyes cold to the extreme. Lu Yiping, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Saying this, a light burst out above his head and a giant bell appeared. When this giant bell appeared, the space around Lu Yiping was completely frozen in an instant. Above the giant bell, the sun, moon and stars rotated, and the five-colored light illuminated the heavens. Even across the Heavenly Court's army of hundreds of millions, the masters of various worlds in the distance could see the five-colored light illuminating the heavens. The Bell of Chaos. The crowd cried out in surprise. Seeing the Bell of Chaos above Hao Yin's head, Lu Yiping was not surprised. He had already learned from Ma Teng's memories that Hao Yin had seized the Bell of Chaos. The Bell of Chaos is an invincible treasure in the universe. Hao Yin looked at Lu Yiping with the Bell of Chaos above his head and said, it can reflect all weapon attacks and ignore the power of the Great Tao. I am invincible. Lu Yiping, you must die today. At this point, Hao Yin summoned a 17-acre auspicious cloud, filled with holy light and auspicious light. Attack! Hao Yin poured his saint power into the Bell of Chaos and activated it with all his might. Instantly, the sound of a heaven-shaking bell rang out. This bell rang throughout the immortal realm, and its terrifying power completely locked down the time and space around Lu Yiping. The shocking sound of the bell waves surged toward Lu Yiping in an overwhelming manner. Just as Hao Yin attacked, the other 15 saints of the Heavenly Court and more than 400 saints attacked at the same time. The 15 saints of the Heavenly Court summoned their auspicious clouds and used their strongest attacks. More than 400 saints cooperated with the Heavenly Palace's formation to trigger the lightning in the sky and attack Lu Yiping. Chapter 426. When Hao Yin and the other saints attacked, all the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals in the Heavenly Court's army also activated their immortal power and poured it into the Heavenly Palace's formation. Suddenly, the heavenly lightning that blotted out the sky rumbled and roared, striking down on Lu Yiping. Boundless heavenly lightning rained down from the sky. These heavenly lightning were activated by more than 400 saints and the heavenly court's army at the same time. One could imagine how terrifying their power was. Heaven and earth seemed to be annihilated. In the distance, the experts from various worlds were shocked when they saw the power of Hao Yin's saints and the heavenly court's army. The Queen Mother was also shocked. Just as she was about to order the female immortals to help Lu Yiping, heaven and earth suddenly trembled violently, as if something terrifying was about to break free from the shackles of heaven and earth. Lu Yiping's body glowed with golden light as great Daos flew out of his body. As the great Daos flew out of Lu Yiping's body, heaven and earth trembled even more violently. Everyone was shocked when they saw the great Daos fly out of Lu Yiping's body. Spacetime Great Dao. Immortal Great Dao. Devil Great Dao. Reincarnation Great Dao. Five Elements Great Dao. The experts from various worlds cried out involuntarily. Spacetime Great Dao was ranked 3rd. Immortal Great Dao was ranked 4th. Devil Great Dao was ranked 5th. Reincarnation Great Dao was ranked 7th. Five Elements Great Dao was ranked 10th. Lu Yiping had actually comprehended 5 of the 10 supreme Great Daos. In the myriad worlds, if any saint comprehended one of the supreme Great Daos, it would be amazing. However, Lu Yiping alone had comprehended 5. As Lu Yiping's 5 supreme Great Daos flew out, Lu Yiping's spacetime, which was originally sealed by the Bell of Chaos, cracked inch by inch, like invisible chains breaking apart. Lu Yiping's body was surrounded by immortals and devils. This was the power of the immortal Great Dao and the devil Great Dao. When Hao Tian saw Lu Yiping's 5 supreme Great Daos, he was equally shocked. After recovering from his shock, his face turned hideous, and the killing intent in his eyes became even sharper. Even though Lu Yiping had comprehended 5 supreme Great Daos, he was still confident that he could kill Lu Yiping within the Sky Palace array. No matter how strong Lu Yiping was, there was no way he could withstand the combined attack of 16 sages. No matter how strong Lu Yiping was, there was no way he could withstand the power of the Heaven Palace's grand formation, which was powered by billions of soldiers. After the 5 supreme Great Daos, one Great Dao after another flew out from Lu Yiping's body. In an instant there were 100 types. 100 Great Daos. Hao Tian was stunned. During the Feast of Peaches, Lu Yiping had punched the Confucian sage and revealed more than 70 Great Daos. This made Hao Tian think that Lu Yiping had only comprehended 70 Great Daos. Now that he saw that Lu Yiping had actually comprehended 100 Great Daos, his expression turned ugly. Lu Yiping, so what if you have comprehended 100 Great Daos? Hao Tian laughed hideously. Today even the Empress Dowager can't save you. The Empress Dowager had led the female immortals here to save Lu Yiping, and Hao Tian had already seen it. Hao Tian didn't take it to heart. Although the Empress Dowager was the leader of the female immortals, the female immortals under her command were much weaker than his heavenly court. Lu Yiping's expression was calm when he heard this, and Great Daos continued to fly out. Under the incredulous gazes of Hao Tian and the others, the number of Great Daos around Lu Yiping reached 300 in an instant. 300 Great Daos. A sage from the heavenly court said in a trembling voice. The experts from the various worlds in the distance were even more shocked. Even the Empress Dowager's beautiful eyes widened to the maximum, and her round chest heaved up and down. After 300 Great Daos, the auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head flew out. 18 acres of auspicious cloud. Everyone saw the auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head and was shocked again. 18 acres of auspicious cloud was almost the limit of the sage realm. The largest auspicious cloud was 19 acres, but since ancient times, almost no one in the celestial world had been able to condense a 19-acre auspicious cloud. Lu Yiping punched out. The power of the 300 Great Daos and the auspicious cloud sank power merged into his fist and surged, colliding with the power of Hao Tian's Bell of Chaos. Boom. The power of the Bell of Chaos was dispersed, but Lu Yiping's fist did not stop. It met the power of the other 15 sages of the heavenly court, and with a loud bang, it broke open again. In the end, Lu Yiping's fist scattered the power of more than 400 sages of the heavenly court and blasted towards Hao Tian and the others. Dong. Lu Yiping's fist landed on the Bell of Chaos. Hao Tian and the others were sent flying. The power of the heavenly court's heavenly palace formation, activated by the heavenly court's army, all stopped when it reached the top of Lu Yiping's head. Endless heavenly lightning rolled and roared above Lu Yiping's head, but it could not fall, as if it had encountered an invisible realm wall. Then the heavenly lightning was lifted up by an invisible giant hand like a tray, and then shattered into billions of pieces, shooting back towards the Heavenly Court's army. The Heavenly Court's army was sent flying, screaming in pain. Hao Tian's 16 sages were sent flying into the Heavenly Court's army, knocking away countless Heavenly Court soldiers and generals. As for the more than 400 sages, they were directly turned into a bloody mist by Lu Yiping's fist. The Empress, who was about to order the female immortals to attack, stopped in her tracks, her face full of shock. The powerhouses of the various worlds were shocked. Just now, almost all of the Heavenly Court's strength was blocked by Lu Yiping alone, and the Heavenly Court was completely defeated. After sending Hao Tian and the others flying with a punch, Lu Yiping took a step forward, and was already in front of Hao Tian. At this time, the bell of chaos, which was shining with five-colored light, dimmed, and the five-colored light had dissipated, and Hao Tian vomited blood. Impossible? Hao Tian looked at Lu Yiping, his eyes full of shock and anger. He had comprehended the great Tao of destiny, had the bell of chaos and the Heavenly Court's sages, but still lost. Lu Yiping looked at Hao Tian. Although the bell of chaos is said to be invincible, it depends on who has it. You are too weak, you can't use the bell of chaos's power. At this point, a huge mountain appeared in Lu Yiping's hand. Mount Buzhou. Hao Tian's expression changed. Mount Buzhou in Lu Yiping's hand instantly expanded, emitting layers of chaos chi, and suddenly smashed towards Hao Tian and the others. Hao Tian frantically activated the bell of chaos. The light of the bell of chaos increased greatly and five-colored light fell, protecting the space around Hao Tian. Dong. Mount Buzhou smashed onto the bell of chaos, and the bell of chaos flew up, while Hao Tian was smashed into the ground by Mount Buzhou. Just as Lu Yiping said, although the bell of chaos was said to be invincible, it depended on who had it. The difference in combat strength between him and Hao Tian was too great. Even with the bell of chaos, he couldn't block Lu Yiping's attack. Just as Lu Yiping used Mount Buzhou to smash Hao Tian into the ground, a Heavenly Court's Tao-proving sage suddenly flew up, ignoring his serious injuries, and stabbed at Lu Yiping's back with his holy weapon spear. Clang. The other party's spear stabbed Lu Yiping's back. Everyone was surprised. But before the Heavenly Court's people could rejoice, they saw that the sage who attacked was sent flying by Lu Yiping. Everyone looked over in shock, and saw great Tao patterns appear on Lu Yiping's body, and an unimaginably huge towering tree appeared in front of everyone. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.